Good morning, live stream. We're going to get going in about 30 seconds here.
With Pete Schwaba and Greg Buck from 5 to 7. Smart talk, fresh voices, and news you can count on. 92.7 WMDX.
Finding support for my child with ADHD felt overwhelming. I didn't know which direction to take, but Understood.org's resources helped guide me. Now I have the tools I need to keep us moving forward. Visit
Good morning!
Morning! Good morning!
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
This is where Wisconsin wakes up. It's Daybreak with Brian Noonan and Jamie Martinson. Here are your hosts, Brian and Jamie.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. It is 6:06. Happy Election Day. Some much cooler temperatures today, but a whole lot of sunshine in store. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. We welcome you into the program. Whether you want to text or call 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. If you do call in today, make sure you wish our technical producer, Parker, a very happy birthday.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday, Parker.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Parker.
you.
That's exciting. 23.
20.
Do you remember 23, Brian?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Me neither. Me neither.
Oh, good. I have a great year ahead of me. That's what it sounds like.
No, we're just old. That's what we're saying.
I haven't been 23 in a few years.
very long
We'll just say-
time.
We'll just say,
A
long
very
time.
long time.
It's been a long time since I've been 23. Wow, you are a kid. That's great. Congrats. What are you doing for your birthday? Hopefully you're going out and tying one on. You're going to have a good time. You're going to show up tomorrow all hungover and, you know.
Well, I don't know that I'm going to be showing up hungover, Brian. I will still show up.
Calling
to work
in
at 5
sick?
o'clock.
Okay.
I might call.
All right. Give me plenty of time, all right? Because I got to find somebody to replace
Okay,
you
yeah.
if you do.
I'll let Zommers know what's going on.
Okay, all right. Please do.
Very nice. So what does a
Faithful
23-year-old do
summers.
for their birthday nowadays? I know what I did when I was 23 for my birthday.
Well, when you get a birthday on a Tuesday, that's always
true.
fun.
That's
so,
true.
Yeah, might be going out with dinner with the family. But
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah,
Celebrate
going to-
over the weekend then?
Yeah, I
With
think we're
friends?
going to a brewer game with a couple of buddies
All
this
right.
weekend. Yeah, I think we'll have some fun there. Not using the Civic Media seats,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Why
not?
Yes, but
that's a bummer.
we are going to be in like prime home run territory though.
Ooh.
So
Ooh,
we're like
all right.
2 or 3 rows above the Brewers bullpen.
Oh,
so
very nice.
Are you
Yes.
bringing your mitt?
I'm thinking, okay, Brian, I got to ask you about this. I don't know. Am I too old? Is 23 too old?
Yes.
Yes?
You are too old
Okay.
to bring your mitt to a game. And once you're past 7, you're too old to bring a mitt to a game.
Oh,
Because then you become that creepy ball shagging guy who is
Yeah.
trying to snag balls from a little kid, and that's not a euphemism either.
And that's
But-
okay. And that's the other thing. If I catch a ball, I don't want to need to give it to a kid,
No,
but
you
I will.
See, that's
That's
peer
a hard
pressure.
one.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
if there was a little kid who's missed a couple and maybe
Yeah.
really, or just
Yeah.
get the ball and then leave. Just don't sit
That's a
around
good
this
point.
section anymore. Go
Yeah.
sit
I
I
somewhere
could
else.
run away.
Yeah, just
Can always
take
run
the ball
away.
and go home.
I think it also depends on who hits it. If it's a ball from the other team, do you really care that much?
No,
right?
I'm throwing it back.
No, you're
well,
not.
see-
I know, I'm not. I'm
then
not
you're giving
throwing
it to
back.
the
No,
little
you're
kid.
Yes.
If it's
Yeah.
hit by Yelich, then
That
it's
is
yours.
true. Yes, that is very true.
Yeah, a home run hit by the other team you keep and you give to a kid.
Yeah.
A home run hit by one of the Brewers, you just put it in your pocket.
Right.
Don't make a big show of celebrating.
Yeah, you
just make
just-
the snag like you've done it a million times. Put it in your pocket and move on.
Ignore the kid who's crying because you have the ball now and he doesn't, and continue to drink your adult beverage because
Well,
that's how you should be doing
Toughen up,
the game.
kid. Toughen up.
There
Well,
you go.
here's the thing: these kids don't understand. Parker's been going to ball games. He's
Right.
old.
Yeah,
He's 23 now. Good Lord,
when
his
they're
hips probably
23,
snapping.
when they're 23 and
My
they can
knees hurt.
afford their own tickets, they can.
Well, and
they can
you may have gone your whole life without ever catching a home run ball. Why should, if you finally catch one, give it to somebody else?
yeah.
This
Just
might be
because
the
they're a
fir-
kid. Why does a kid have ownership over all baseballs? just because they're
true.
young. They haven't done anything. They haven't been disappointed by life. They haven't been kicked in the teeth. This is Parker's moment to shine. And
They don't get up at 3:30 every day to
Yeah.
go do a big boy job.
Yeah, what responsibilities does a kid have? If they have their dad or mom take them to the gift shop, buy them a Brewers ball.
There you go.
One of those, most people go their whole life without ever catching a home run ball.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
a thrill.
You're onto
And
something here.
you know what? Knock them down too, Parker. Now that we're talking about why kids, I gotta catch the ball. You brought some
shouldn't I?
oversized mitt the size of a U-Haul, and you're gonna slap it on your scrawny little kid arm and try to catch everything. No, doesn't
Parker,
work
we have
that way.
birthday wishes coming in. Roger from Stevens Point says, happy birthday, Shaggy Parker. And he apparently thinks you look like Shaggy.
There
from
is a picture
Scooby-Doo.
of me that
Okay.
looks a lot like
All right.
Shaggy, actually.
And
yes.
Alicia chiming in over on our YouTube chat this morning saying, happy birthday, Parker. 23 for me was my first year in college. That was my first official year that I was working as a full-time employee. So,
nice.
yes, that's what I remember of 23. Radio jaded me a long time ago.
I don't remember. I honestly have no idea where I was at 23.
Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it very much. I look forward to not remembering where I was in 10 years.
That means it was a good birthday.
Well, no, it's just I'm trying to remember if I had moved back. It was between moving
You've been all over
back
the place,
to
Brian.
Chicago. Yeah, I've been everywhere, man, as Johnny Cash would say.
That's what I hear.
But yes, so well, happy birthday. I hope it's a good one, and you
Thank
get a little chance to relax after work today. So
Yes.
and then
Thanks.
plot how you're going to disappoint children,
Yes.
which that'll be
At the
great.
Brewer
I
game or
can't-
in general?
Start with the Brewers game as
Okay.
as a blueprint, and then move
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
That'll
and
be
then
good.
yeah, that's just
Yeah.
the first step, and then
Okay.
you can build from there. It's
But
like
I'm
building
going to-
blocks.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Frank to make sure to censure you if we find out you took a mitt to the game. That is, there will be consequences if we found out you took a mitt to the game.
Is it that bad? Because I
Yes,
like.
Do you do that?
No, I never have. No,
but he's sitting in prime home run seats.
exactly.
He is.
Yeah. So
Then you
No,
got to be the
you
man who
either-
catches it with your beer, or you barehand it just, or you
do
take
you
your
know
hat
how much
off
money
and
I'm gonna
I agree
get
with
for that
Brian.
Beer? I'm not putting a ball in that beer.
Wow, you are so cheap. You know your parents are paying for those beers.
He's not saying no.
No,
you notice,
no.
it was-
Right,
it took a
exactly.
little
Right.
bit. Took a little bit for him.
What
to
does the
say
beer at
no.
AmFam run?
Oh,
Right through you, Frank.
That's how I like them.
Probably true. That's
I don't know even.
I-
I don't drink beer, so I would be the worst person to ask.
I'm thinking like 12 or 13.
Sounds about right.
That's pretty cheap.
Brewers.
That's for a 24-ounce can, so you're getting,
brew-
you got to break
mean-
it down.
It's also the Brewers, which were named for brewing, so you think that somewhere in there, but I get
Okay.
it. Major
Yeah, but
League
it's not a
Baseball.
charity.
think-
They don't
I know,
go with that
This
nice
is
charity
true.
move.
I know.
No,
I
that's
know.
true. I think the Nationals, their stadium turned 21 years old the other day, and they had somebody who was born on the same day that the stadium opened come out for their birthday and have their first drink of beer.
Wow.
Instead of a first pitch, they did that.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
That's
Love
actually
that.
entertaining.
That'd have been
That's
great.
that's pretty. That's some good PR.
It
They've got a
is.
good PR team over
And that's
there.
the most Brewers thing that the Brewers didn't do,
Oh, they should have.
right?
I feel like they missed the boat on that one.
I know.
Frank, get on the phone. Tell them that we
Yeah,
have an
let me-
idea for them.
Let me call him right
Call
up.
marketing over there.
Yeah.
Like,
see
who's
your,
this?
I see your boys have dropped their beer prices too, Frank.
They dropped the beer prices?
Yeah, that's
Isn't it
what I
like
saw.
Oh.
$18?
I saw some posts that they dropped them a little bit the other day. People were posting
Frank is going to do
signs.
investigative
What,
work
10
now.
cents?
Yeah. You know.
Hey, when you drink as many as you do when you go to Wrigley, yeah.
See,
What's
that's
it-
why
Something
God
there.
invented tailgates, so I could drink cheap and then wander in and not have to worry about
This
it.
is true. So I have to ask. I mean, because the Brewers are, as far as the teams in the MLB go, one of the cheaper, and I mean, like $178 to go to a game for a family of four. But so, what's it cost for you guys to go see your beloved White Sox or beloved Cubs?
I don't know. I don't go unless they're. I don't waste the money when they don't put any effort into the team. I don't. I watch it
Sure.
on TV
That
or I
makes
listen
sense.
on the radio.
Yeah.
Jamie, that's actually a good question, and I know that the answer is out there, so let me look it up real quick.
Okay.
But there is an
All right.
exact number. I know we're like top
Okay.
3.
I was going to say,
Oh, good
because the
God.
Cubs are expensive. John from Oshkosh chiming in this morning saying, happy birthday, happy election day, and happy Taco Tuesday. Well, John, listening on WISS, he's just covering it all this
It's a
morning. Thank you for
trifecta,
that.
John. I forgot all about Taco Tuesday. Maybe that's what you do for your birthday, Parker.
Oh, maybe Taco Tuesday.
Ooh,
Taco
there's some
Tuesday it up.
margaritas that could be had with
Yeah.
those. Now we're
Tableside
thinking.
guac.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
churro?
Really talking now.
And if you go to the right restaurant, they'll bring out a sombrero and they'll sing
Oh.
to you with a guitar.
I
I'm
don't know.
telling you.
My brother was in a
mariachis?
mariachi band, actually, in high school.
Wait. What? Did anybody else just catch that?
What about
You guys like
mariachi?
mariachis?
My brother was in a mariachi band. in
Wait,
high school.
what? Your brother?
How does
My
one
brother-
get into a mariachi band?
It was
And
like,
Especially,
I wanna- hold on.
especially
I-
how does a
With the
white boy
lavender
from Madison
There you
get
go.
into mariachi band? I'll say it. No, everybody else is thinking it.
well,
I'll say
I
it.
was going to ask it,
yeah.
I was thinking with the last name Olson, how do you get into a mariachi band?
especially in the state of Wisconsin. Usually it's like, oh, you
It's
want to
the-
do a band? Polka.
It's the only
Polka
Oompa
band.
mariachi band.
It was like a bunch of high school friends. One of them, I think, the guy that led the group, I believe, was Mexican. So
Lederhosen and sombreros.
they were.
Good for him.
That's a look. He played the accordion, which
Your brother or the
my brother played the
okay.
accordion. Which one day he had got it from like the high school Spanish teacher, and for whatever reason, it stayed in our house for like
Oh my
years after the
God.
fact. And I had to bring it into school, and we had to like get checked when we came into the school with like IDs and stuff. And if you brought stuff in, they had to open the box and look. I couldn't figure out how to open because I had to return it to the Spanish teacher. I couldn't figure out how to open the box for a good second here. So there's like a security guy going, somebody gave you a box and you don't know how to open it. I'm like, yes, this is true. I guarantee.
That doesn't sound fishy.
No, I guarantee there's an accordion in here. Just ask Miss Ferguson.
I'm just picturing Parker in Lederhosen with a sombrero on his head and a brat in the other hand, and then like a margarita. And, like this is what I'm
Honestly,
picturing in my head.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
Then he busts out his accordion and does his Weird Al impression.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, your birthday's taking shape now. Sounded a little boring before, but now
Yeah, you got. I mean, we've come up with some prime
turned this
ideas.
into a rager.
You got quite the idea here. I like it. It's gonna be a fun day.
I'm
good we can help you out.
the Wisconsin mariachi band.
Yeah, I think they performed at Bratfest a couple times.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Can we get a reunion for like if we do a remote? Will they do a reunion and come in?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
We'll have to
It could
Gather the
happen.
troops.
Yeah, we'll make
They
it
had
worth
a
their
teacher
while.
that joined him too because he was a really good trumpet player. He joined him a couple of times.
Well, of
Mr.
course.
Reisling. Yeah.
Reisling is definitely a mariachi name.
I was just gonna say that's definitely who I would think of in a mariachi band.
How many opportunities do you get to play in a mariachi band?
Exactly. You got to take the
6.
opportunity, Frank.
6.
Six.
Did you just say 6?
Six
Okay.
opportunities.
6.
Thought we were asking for a number. Just my estimate. What do I know? Hey, it's election day. We're going to be talking about that. And quickly, Jamie, you can go to the Department of Transportation and get an ID. Is that correct?
Yes, the DMV across the state is going to be open until 6 p.m. tonight for anybody who wants to get their state-issued ID so that they can go to the polls, because remember, you can actually register at the polls today if you'd like to vote and you're not already. So DMV is doing us a solid. You can go over to their website and check out the locations and check out wait times to find the one nearest to you. So if you don't have your state-issue ID, you want to vote, you thought that was going to preclude you from doing so, well, nope, you can definitely go get that today. So love that.
Good. It's election day. Make sure you are voting, no matter who you're voting for. Tony Evers signed legislation about PFAS contaminations. We will talk about that and more. This is Daybreak on, well, I'm Brian Noonan. I'll let, I don't know, you know where we are, don't you?
619, Jamie Martinson, Civic Media Network.
All right, Jamie, to answer your question,
Yes.
for a family of 4 to see the Cubs, it's around $312.
Oh my gosh.
The White Sox are about $100 cheaper at 214.
That's still too much. That's why, but they have those Sundays, those family Sundays where you can get in for almost nothing.
I think 312 is on the low end for Wrigley for a family of 4, and I think 214's on the high end.
Yeah,
for the White Sox right now.
Because you can get on Sundays, I think you can get for $25, you can get a ticket and a hot dog, or something. Yeah. When they have dollar hot dog nights. Anything to get people in that dump.
After the Brewers game ended the other day, we were watching other baseball games on Easter Sunday through Max's app, and we were laughing at the fact that I believe it was the A's that came on.
Ooh.
And
the Sacramento A's.
Max was like, well, it's actually kind of cool that you could sit outside the perimeter of their ballpark in like this park area and watch. And I was like, well, yeah, why would you go into he goes, true, this is true. So we were having that conversation, but yeah, that was sad to see, like, literally about it. I don't know what camera angle they used. I don't know if they could have made it any better, but it looked like there were about 10 people in that stadium, which was pretty sad and pathetic.
And that's a minor league stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
oh, it was so bad.
That's the dumpster fire of, I think, Major League Sports.
Yeah.
Yes,
that is
100%.
That is it.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Oakland.
It was so
first
sad.
off.
Right. Not no mo.
No mo.
No
mo.
Max is like, it's the Oakland A's in Sacramento via, and then he was like, via San Francisco. I was like,
hoping to get to Las Vegas.
Oh, that's like the Los Angeles Angels of
Anaheim.
Yeah. Max is like, it's so stupid.
All right, we got 15 seconds.
From Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, this is Wisconsin's Morning Conversation. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
We hope your morning's off to a great start. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to chime into the conversation today, you can call or text us at 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. If you download that Civic Media app, you can also text us through that as well, which might make it a little easier, and listen to a whole lot of really great programming from all across the state. It is 6:23. I'm Jamie Martinson.
Good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. Yesterday, Tony Evers signed into law 2 bills that released millions of dollars to address the growing number of PFAS contaminations found across the state. This is good news, and you might be thinking, hey, didn't he veto legislation like this before? Yes. In fact, the governor had vetoed similar legislation to this, but then this is what grown-ups do, kids. He negotiated with Republicans to create a compromise. Oh, that's weird. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources will now have the authority to launch grant programs, hire staff, and help communities remediate forever chemical contamination after years of disagreement between lawmakers and the governor on how a trust fund should be spent. At the bill signing ceremony, Evers said, quote, folks should be able to trust their water, the water that's coming out of their tap, and because of PFAS, that's not the case for too many living in Wisconsin. We're still learning more about the threats of PFAS every single day, which is why addressing this issue has been a top priority for us, end quote. Good for you, and good for everybody in the assembly for actually sitting down, looking at an issue that should have been a no-brainer from the start, and coming up with a compromise and getting it done. So this is good news. We'll start the show with a little good news today. Parker's birthday and then clean water. Two things that we like.
I think we can all be on the same page about Parker's birthday and clean water. I think that's easy.
Well, at least Parker's birthday.
I was going to say at least clean water.
Okay, all right.
Well, we should all be for clean water, but it was an issue.
That should be
it's
easy.
like, oh, stop.
What I love about this compromise, too, is let's be clear. Why I'm so glad that there was compromise. It took far too long for it to actually get there. However, they got it done, which I will always applaud. But what I love about this is that it actually unlocks funding that's just been sitting there for years, more than 1,000 days, by the way, for anybody who's wondering how long this actually took. And the state can actually now start testing water. They can start cleaning it up, and they can really start helping communities deal with any contamination they might have. And the key part about all of this, which I appreciate, which is why that it had to be renegotiated so many times, is because this protects homeowners and landowners and actually makes the companies responsible for a lot of that cleanup. That is why this was why it took so long to actually get there and get this bill.
God forbid we try to make the people who caused it clean it up.
Well, no,
that would
we wouldn't do that.
I thought we learned that in like kindergarten. If you make a mess, you clean it up. But
that's what I was taught.
That
when
goes
I spilled
away.
My glitter and glue, yeah.
Yeah, that goes away. Once you are a corporation, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So this is great. They're saying like in La Crosse in the town of Campbell, one of their supervisor for that town said before the bill signing that the legislation would be pivotal for communities like hers because there's been use of PFAS-containing firefighting foam at the airport. And that's tainted the drinking water for, she said, decades. How many fires are they having at the La Crosse Regional Airport?
That they would be tainting the water that badly,
what's
become
going on
that
up
big of an
there?
issue. Right. I think that might be a bigger question that people need to start asking.
They're having a demo derby or something. Planes just slamming into each other.
I think it's interesting, though, because before this particular law, there were so many homeowners who were on the hook for any sort of cleanup that they had to do, even if it came from the industrial use. And so, things like, I don't know, firefighting foam kind of feels like it's outside of a homeowner's responsibility and purview to have to do something about. I don't know. Call me crazy. But
well, all right, you're crazy, but you're not. There's no reason I should be paying for what the airport or the fire department did. You broke it, you fix it. You break it, you buy it. You gotta take care of your business. So this is good, and it's another sign that we can have cooperation and negotiations in our politics when you look at the greater good. I don't know how a lot of these issues that we are so divided on are not viewed as the greater good, but something like this that really everybody can agree on. We all need clean water. We can find a way to make a compromise. And the thing about compromise is everybody looks at it as a all win or nothing. You're either win or lose. It's not like that. You got to give a little, you got to get a little. And that's the compromise. That's negotiation. We should tell the president that, Jamie, because he gave a little news conference yesterday. Now, if you'll remember, I said yesterday, I wish he wasn't going to be involved in this news conference because it would then be all about him. Well, I'm not that smart. It just was obvious that was going to happen, and it did. So we'll have some key takeaways from that. We're going to find out what's going on. And all right, this is a sidebar. What is he doing talking to little kids about auto pens and Joe Biden? And he has lost his ever-loving mind.
But
this was at the Easter egg roll yesterday.
He's always done things like that, though, right? Where he's talked to the wrong people about the wrong things,
but he is
and
the
made
most
it very weird and awkward.
So are we supposed to believe then that he didn't talk to other children? I don't know, like young girls in different ways. I mean, just drawing parallels. That's what I do. I've connected dots.
Of course, that's what we're supposed to believe. Of course, that's what we're supposed to believe.
Okay, so he didn't do that.
No, he didn't do that, but he's willing to talk to kids about the auto pen and an Easter egg hunt.
If that's not a skit on Saturday Night Live next week, I don't know what is going to be. Imagine this doddering old orange shell just talking to your kids, your 5-year-old who came there to get Easter eggs. And I tell you something else, kid. Do you know about the auto pen? Joe Biden, very bad with the auto pen. Couldn't even sign his name. Old man. Who are you? Where's the Easter Bunny? I don't believe the Easter Bunny. He's socialist. Gives away things for nothing.
I just want candy. That's all they wanted.
Of course.
It's 6:29 right now. You are listening to Daybreak. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. This is the Civic Media Network.
I mean, that ranks right up there during the eclipse when they told him not to look directly at the sun.
That's true.
He looked directly at the sun.
No,
Yeah.
he's something. This is.
Hasn't he done this before, though, with kids, when kids were involved? Like, wasn't there one of the turkey pardons that he basically made it all weird and awkward,
It's
too?
always
I mean,
weird.
He did
'cause
something on.
There's so many of those.
I think with Halloween, either this year or last year, or last term, he like put a candy bar on a kid's head.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
weird, too.
But now with everything else that's going on, it's like this. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen today
Yeah.
because of the holy war, and
Yep.
we're taking them all out, and I don't care if there's going to be if it's war crimes, and yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
There's
Good morning, live stream. They're all very active already this morning.
hi live streamers. Well, we're all on the edge of our seat waiting to
We
see
are.
because at some point, and I don't think this is hysterical. Iran's going to hit back at us.
Mhm.
They're not just going to hit back over there.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. That's
And
been
this
one of my
is-
biggest fears.
And everybody is complicit at this point. Everybody in Congress who allows this to
Yes.
go forward. Everybody who confirmed Hegseth, all of it.
Yes. And anybody who continues to, when he says the things that he does not step up and say, this is just wrong. What are
Right.
we doing here? Kind of wish Lindsey Graham would go back to Disneyland in his suit and be awkward again.
Yeah, take his little pink wand and dance around. Listen, guy wants to be a Disney adult, and however old Lindsey Graham is by himself, not even to go with anybody, to go all by yourself. One, that
It's
is
very
so
strange.
staggeringly sad that you have to live like that, where you can't.
Yes.
I'm sure he wanted to wear the whole princess costume. I'm sure, Lindsay wanted to be fabulous and enjoy himself. And to be honest, he should be able to. If that's his gig,
Right?
go. I don't care. You want to dress up
Have
like
a good
Snow White
time.
or whoever.
I would
don't know.
actually
His-
have more respect for you if you did
Yeah.
that.
How about it? Then the wand makes sense, and he went to a character breakfast. A 70-year-old man shouldn't go to the character breakfast by himself.
Do you
Sorry.
think that inside, when he was there, he was just delightfully giddy inside, but he couldn't
No.
actually show it on the outside
That's why I don't think he was giddy. I think he wanted to be
because he
giddy.
was so miserable? Yeah.
Yes, I think he wanted to be fabulous and just embrace it and run through the Magic Kingdom. I'm so happy.
Yes.
But he
got a-
couldn't, and that's a shame. That it truly
Oh,
is
no,
a shame.
agreed. We have a text coming in we can read from Roger and Stevens Point this morning.
Yeah, what it doesn't have anything to do with weather,
No.
except nuclear winter, which will be coming.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Listen, Parker, enjoy your 23rd birthday.
'Cause we don't
24
know
is
if there's
not
gonna be many
guaranteed,
more.
brother.
No.
24 is not guaranteed
We don't know if
because
there's
no
many
one
more.
will stop this lunatic and his asylum.
And what I think bothers me the most is there's so many people who are like, well, NATO will stop. No, NATO keeps capitulating to him too. So,
It just everybody's let him do whatever. And well, it starts at home. It's our responsibility. It's Congress's responsibility
Yes.
and the court's responsibility, and they've all abdicated that responsibility.
Yep.
So, and it's
now there's nothing to stop him.
and it's also it is the fault of all the 77 million people that backed him, despite all evidence that showed he was not the kind of person who should be in charge again.
Yeah.
But here we are. So we watch his ramblings. We hold our breath. I don't think he has the sack to go through with anything crazy. I think he
No.
loves to talk, and he's so used to everybody just giving in to him that's what That's what
This
he hopes
Hague
a
set,
sovereign
though.
country will do, and a sovereign country is not going to do it.
All right, we got 15 seconds, Torbeck.
All facts, no fiction. It's Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
6:35 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Election Day. Remember, those polls open in about 25 minutes or so. So if you want to, cast your vote today and you haven't already before you head out, before you get into a busy day of work, school, kids, all of that good stuff, please stop by your polling location, myvote.wi.gov, if you need to know what that location is. It is 6:35 right now. My name is Jamie Martinson.
Good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. Yeah, if you want to vote, go early, go. And as selfish as I always am when I go vote, I like when I just walk in and out. But then I think to myself, this is sad that I'm walking in and out. I should have to wait a little while to vote. We see countries where people wait in line all day to vote. So I hope you have to wait in line a little today. And that's
They also make it easier for people to vote in other countries. Like holidays, national holidays, weekends, all of that.
Ain't nobody
kind
got
of
time
stuff.
for that. We got to,
No,
squeeze it in. We try to
That's
make it
right.
as inconvenient as possible. And
Well, of course.
if some people have their way, it'll be much more inconvenient.
Yes.
So
yes, that's the unfortunate part.
speaking of one of those people, the tangerine tyrant, Donald Trump, had a news conference yesterday at the White House, and it was supposed to be about the unbelievably brave and strategic operation that rescued one of our fighters. But he turned it into more railing and threats, and him giving the order, which I doubt they were waiting for him to give the order. I'm sure everybody in the military, once that fighter plane went down, they had things in motion but he had to make it about himself. The big takeaway, though, was that he has basically said once again tonight at 8:00 Eastern time is the deadline for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, or that Iran could be taken out in one night. That is a quote. He also said he planned to bomb every bridge and power plant because they could be destroyed by midnight. And despite this, he never said if the war is still going or the war is done, if this is part of the 2 weeks. And he also said that Iran is an active, willing participant in negotiations, but it doesn't seem that way from Iran's point of view.
That certainly isn't what they're saying. If you listen to them, and let's be clear, we've talked about this before. Iran is not innocent in any of this. No, there was not imminent threat to the United States. This war is unwarranted, but Iran has not been an innocent bystander.
Of course not.
In any account.
Nobody.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument
is.
there.
Yeah, it's hard to trust where the truth lies. At this point, though, I don't know. I kind of side with Iran because as far as what is actually happening as far as the negotiations, that is what I side with them on, because I believe that we're getting a much accurate depiction of their stance from them than we are from this particular administration and this president.
All you have to do is look. They're not giving up. They're not fighting.
No.
They've been fighting for generations. They're not going to roll over. They're not going to do what he says. They're not backing down. They're not saying, well, we'll think about opening the strait. No, we're not going to open the strait until we get reimbursed for all the cost of this war that you started over nothing. And by nothing, I mean no intelligence to back up what Trump says he decided to go to war for. There was no evidence of this. And so that's, when we say that, again, he didn't have any evidence to start this. This is a war of choice. This is a war to steal the oil. He's saying it out loud.
Yes.
Just go take the oil. There's no secret. He's not this big, sneaky, covert Machiavellian genius. He's an imbecile who gives out all his plans and then contradicts himself. I totally obliterated their nuclear program. They were 3 days away from having a nuclear bomb. What is it?
Well, how long has he been saying just take the oil? He was saying that during his first administration. I mean, he repeated that phrase over and over again. He repeated it during the 2024 campaign cycle where he talked about taking the oil. So if you're surprised by what's going on, you obviously were not paying close enough attention to what the man was saying, because he says everything he plans on doing out loud all of the time, which I don't know if you're his aides at some point. Are you like super excited about the president and him being so blunt with the American people? Or are you like, please don't speak right now. Please don't speak. Because at some point, somebody has to be like, just be quiet. Just be quiet.
Stop.
Right?
There's there's not. That's how
that's
how the real world works, Jamie.
Okay.
That's not how the administration works. Trump world doesn't work with any sort of accountability. It doesn't work with any questioning of authority. It's do what we say, or there will be, or we're going to jail a journalist for
oh my gosh,
leaking a story. If you have a source, it's not leaking.
No,
you're reporting a story. That's what you are supposed
First
to
Amendment
do.
rights. That's your job. That's what.
Right.
Yesterday was a little bonkers, and we'll get into
was
that. But we have a few texts rolling in here this morning. If you want to join us today and give us your opinion, 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. Roger from Stevens Point says that Trump is getting worse. He has serious dementia, and he has the nuclear codes. Get out and vote today. We've also got Steve from Mount Horeb chiming in this morning saying Trump shouldn't talk about signatures. We were referring to Trump at the Easter egg hunt at the White House yesterday, basically talking to children about the auto pen. Steve says that his signature looks like a readout from an earthquake. We've got John from Oshkosh listening on WISS. He says, to the winner goes the spoils. This guy is an idiot. And then finally, Corey from Watertown listening on MDX says, is Trump really saying that he's going to try to take out the 300,000 bridges that Google indicates are within Iran? Yes.
Why are you coming at me with all these facts, Corey? I said I'm taking out all the bridges. I said it. That's it. Power plants, taking them out. But then he said we are going to have to rebuild. We'll be willing to help rebuild Iran.
Yeah.
So we don't want to blow up all the power plants because that's going to be the hardest to rebuild and take the longest. And if we do that, it would take them 100 years to get back. But we should take the oil, and maybe we'll help them. Maybe we should be charging tolls on the Strait. This is all stuff he actually said yesterday.
Yes.
That the U.S. should be charging tolls on the Strait of Hormuz. What is going on in his addled little mind? That this is how it's supposed to be, and that we're going to take over, we're going to do this, and it was a master class in addled mind syndrome. It's like if you've ever had to visit somebody in a nursing home who's starting to suffer from cognitive decline.
Yeah.
This is what is going on here, and I don't say that to be glib. I'm just. How can anyone of rational mind listen to all of this and not think that there's something dangerously wrong? Because let's be honest, it is dangerous to have this guy in charge and being kowtowed to by Pete Hegseth, who he called general yesterday. Pete Hegseth was in the National Guard. He's not a general.
He was also a weekend reporter on anchor, not even a reporter on Fox News. Let's just be clear
good
about
hair.
about who.
But he's a
Pete
Christian
Hegseth
nationalist. He is not qualified to be in the job he's in.
No.
And he is cosplaying a tough guy warrior at the expense of our own men and women in the armed forces.
Yes.
I'm not worried about it.
Oh yeah, he's not worried about it.
He's
not worried about
it.
war crimes or
No.
nothing.
I thought there were several things yesterday that struck me from his news conference, and I want to go back to what you said about the toll that he threatened for other countries using the strait. If you think about that for a minute, right, we're talking about the same countries who are supposedly supposed to be allies also of the United States, who also rely on that route, right? So, and we're now talking about charging them after a conflict that we essentially started, we as in the United States, and escalated.
Well, he started.
This is, yes. We just happen to be innocent bystanders as well. That's not exactly how you regain trust of allies who are already very skeptical of you. And let's be clear, 20% of the world's oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So obviously our prices are going up here in the United States because, well,
Jamie.
disruptions. So
We have plenty of gas, Jamie. Did I not tell you that the other day? Plenty of gas, plenty of oil. Have everybody come. Hey, come buy it from us. We've got plenty. I know we buy it from them, but we don't buy it from them. We buy it from us. We have it.
we can't possibly supply the world with what they need and still make sure that the gas prices in the United States don't get so astronomically high. And by the way, we are not the world's greatest supplier of oil. It's just not how it works. But I mean, what I keep going back to is hopefully someday this man is not president and he is a aforementioned thought, right? And I say that not facetiously, but let's look at what he's trying to do with elections, right? So this is where my mind starts to go. So at some point, I hope he's not president. How do we possibly start repairing the damage that this man has done across the globe? We already have intelligence agencies that don't trust the United States intelligence agencies. They won't work with the U.S. intelligence agencies. They won't give us the information that we need. That started clear back in the first administration. It extended into Venezuela, which, by the way, was just a few weeks ago, if you've lost track of time.
Right.
How do we rebuild all of this?
It will take it will take a long time. I can't predict how many years.
More rhetorical.
But it's going to take But it's going to take a long time to get back to any semblance of our standing in the world that we had. We are now have fallen out of favor, and this has got to be as we watch all this unfold and we watch his decline and his dangerous rhetoric. This has to be playing right into Putin's head. We have been a superpower for so long and been the main obstacle to Russia just doing whatever they want. And we used to think that could never happen here. How do they get away with all this in Russia? And well, now we see that all you have to do is have people who are scared enough, dumb enough, uneducated enough, or just blind enough to follow whatever is being said. And now Russia has to be looking at it going, all right, he's going to make such a terrible blunder. The day that we found out and it was confirmed that Russia was giving Iran the location of our service members should have been the last day Russia was ever spoken about in a favorable way in this country. Any decent president, I don't care what party you're from, any decent American president would have shut down any relations with Russia. We would have embargoed the hell out of them, and we would have isolated them like Trump is trying to isolate us. That did not happen.
No, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep asking the question because someday I hope that somebody in Congress gets a damn backbone. Where are they? Where are they for not protecting the people that have voted them into office? Where are they for not railing in some of what this administration is doing? I mean, when you look at not only this war, but you look at tariffs, when you look at with voting, when you look at healthcare, there is absolutely zero guardrails on this president. And if there's no guardrails here at home, there's definitely not going to be any when we get into a global front. And that's what we're starting to see.
And
it's scary.
There's no accountability for the Epstein files, and you can't keep blaming the Democrats, Republicans, because this is your boy. You're letting him do it. So you are just as complicit, and you will be held accountable at some point. All right, on that note, hey, you're watching a lot of TV at home? You could be on your way to dementia. Happy Tuesday! It's the Civic Media Network.
Damn.
We're just full of good cheer today.
God.
And they're all off gallivanting, having a nice little time, and then they're just coming on and defending their boy. Just, man, blind loyalty.
Yeah.
And they really think that down the road, if it comes to it, that he will have their backs. someday they'll all be held accountable.
Does it worry anybody that they sent J.D. Vance to Hungary to deal with Orban?
No, because and I know this is not a news source, but Last Week Tonight usually does really good in-depth stuff. They laid out, they did a big 20 minutes on Orban the other day, and everything he was doing sounds like it's being mimicked here by Trump.
Yes.
And the whole MAGA movement. And so it doesn't surprise me at all because Orban has pulled off what they want to do.
Sure.
And they're trying. I mean, the parallels were terrifying.
Of course. Well, you look at any of the parallels between what Trump is trying to do in the United States with what Orban has done or what Putin has done in Russia. I mean, it is crazy scary how close we are to teetering right over that edge.
Yeah, and once you go,
There's
can't
no
really
coming
come back. It takes, if you're ever able to, it takes a long time to get back.
Oh,
but
boy.
we were all hysterical, right? When Hillary said it and when Kamala said it and when everybody said it.
So Iran, I've got to read this further, but Iran is now calling for human chains to protect power plants as Trump's
that's in our that's one of our first headlines.
They're about 4 minutes ago, there were strikes that are pummeling Tehran right now.
From us or from Israel?
Well, let me open this up. And that was the headline. Let me actually. So they rejected the ceasefire. Okay, here we go. It does not say who the attacks were from, but they are fearing U.S. and Israeli attacks across Tehran. So I'm going to say that we maybe don't know yet. I mean, and look at what you're doing. I mean, I'm reading this story, and there are residents all across Tehran right now that are storing water and food and figuring out underground areas that they can go, charging phones, getting medical supplies ready because they fear this man.
10 seconds.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
It's 6:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I am Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. What do you do to fill your downtime? Do you watch a lot of TV? Do you do crossword puzzles? Do you do interesting mind-stimulating things? Let us know, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. I saw this, and this is why it interested me, because I do, at night, I like to watch TV. I just like to watch TV while I'm scrolling and enjoy myself. Well, watching TV and other mentally passive sedentary behaviors, boy, that is right on my business card, actually. Those are linked to higher risks of developing dementia, while more mentally engaging activities such as crossword puzzles appear to offer some protection, according to this new study. The findings kind of shape what we know about brain health and aging. And Parker, you don't have to worry about this, but see, you'll get to my age and you'll see a story like this and go, yeah, I forgot a word yesterday. Maybe I shouldn't have watched that extra episode of Paradise. Maybe I should have done a crossword puzzle or a word search or painted or done a mosaic. All the things that I should be doing instead of watching television. So they suggest that cognitive activity is important alongside physical activity. Maybe I should golf. You should golf. That's great. I have a lot of physical activity. I passed many cognitive tests, Jamie. Aced the cognitive test. So this was published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine. So this is not some fly-by-night organization. They reported how much time they spent sitting with the people they studied, how much time they I jumped a paragraph. Wow, I really shouldn't have watched Daredevil Reborn last night. So they followed more than 20,000 adults in Sweden. They don't have anything to do in Sweden and no good TV. Of course they're not watching TV. They followed them for almost 20 years to examine how different types of sedentary behavior were associated with the risk of developing dementia. Participants were between 35 and 64 at the beginning of the study. You do the math to figure it out. I'm not doing any cognitive gymnastics this morning. So the data was correlated with later dementia diagnosis, which was made in 569 individuals during the nearly 20-year study period. So this is, I may have to, for a while I was doing that New York Times connections puzzle.
Sure.
That's a good one.
Here's the thing. At night, if I get the opportunity to sit down, I play mental gymnastics all day long. That's what I do. From the time I get up from 4 a.m. until I finally get a chance to somewhat shut my brain down at night. I don't want to do anything that makes me think anymore.
No.
I'm sorry. I really don't. I want to just sit there and not have to think about anything and be mindlessly bored, or at least just mindless for a certain period of time. That's it. That's all I want to do.
It's from 4:30 a.m. until usually we did around 6:30, so say till 7 o'clock. I am going nonstop, and we're dealing with this. We got to deal with what we're going to be talking about and the craziness. So when I sit down, do I just want to turn on the TV? Sometimes I engage in the show. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, Instagram, look, there's a puppy. Oh, that's cute. I like puppies. Puppy. And then I drool a little bit, and my wife comes over and pats my chin with a Kleenex.
And it's perfect.
And then I totter off to bed.
That's a good night. And I find this interesting because my great grandma actually had dementia. She passed away because of dementia and age. But she played piano every single day for hours on end. And that's what she did her entire life. She still got dementia, which I would argue that piano is pretty mentally stimulating if you've ever done it. She played piano every day of her life for almost an hour, sometimes two. She sang, and she still ended up getting dementia, and she still ended up passing away. And the woman very rarely had a TV on ever in her house. And I'm come to think of it, I'm not sure I even ever saw a TV in my great-grandparents' house. So I don't know. I'm not going to poo-poo science because I do love science, but at the same time, sometimes the mind is just what it is, and sometimes those genetics also play a little role in havoc in life.
And so this study says you should try to choose pastimes that require active thinking. We already said that's a no-go. They say it could be as simple as reading a book, doing a crossword puzzle, playing a strategy game, speaking with a friend. All right, so if I say something to my wife if I go, did you talk to Molly today? And she says yes. And I say, oh, is everything okay? My mind has been activated. No dementia for daddy. Creative hobbies also pose excellent options. Knitting, drawing, writing, or playing a musical instrument all engage different parts of the brain. So that goes to what you said about your great-grandma. The whole thing. I love these studies because it does make you question some of your behaviors.
Sure.
Because there are times when I go, maybe I'm watching a little too much TV, but considering I don't start till like 7:30 at night and I go to bed at 9:30 or 10. I'm not just sitting all day going.
Here's the other thing with these studies too, right? If I went by every study, I would have completely banned eggs from my life and then be eating eggs for nothing but every meal ever, because that's how these studies work, right? So coffee's bad for me. Coffee's good for me. Right. Is alcohol bad for me? Probably. Yes. I'm gonna go with science in this. Yes, of course it is. It's not good, but. Here's the thing. Sometimes you just got to do the things that you enjoy, too, because to me, that's much better than trying to live by every scientific study that ever tells us what's good for us and what's bad for us. And I do believe in science. I appreciate the scientists out there who do this type of work. But if I want a drink, I'm going to have a drink. If I want an egg, I'm going to have an egg. And if I damn well want to sit down and watch TV, I'm going to do that as well.
And I'm going to do all three together just because what else do I have to live for?
You're really tempting fate.
Come on, bring it. The end of a show, I've had an egg sandwich, a cup of coffee, a couple of cocktails, and then I just...
and you got the TV on in the background.
And somebody just comes up and flips the switch, and that's the end. When we come back, headlines from around the globe and right here in the U.S. It is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan.
I'm Jamie Martinson, 6:59 right now. You are listening to the Civic Media Network. Remember, polls open in just about 20 seconds if you want to vote
I hope
today.
you're in line. Vote, 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 vote.
Let's see. Mark and Prairie du Sac. I wish we could get Hot Girl to deal with Trump and Stephen Miller the way she did with Luther's ally in the 2025 Superman movie. Yeah. We could use some, like, Avengers right now.
Well, he is the evil. He's the villain in many of the stories. But maybe we just have derangement syndrome. Maybe he's not as bad as we think.
Could be. It could be.
No, he's exactly what we think.
He's always been exactly what we think.
Yep.
There's no surprises. That's the one thing that I can honestly say about him is if that was what you thought of him, the consistency has been on par as far as what we possibly thought.
Yep. It just, I don't know. Well, November is coming, and it doesn't look like they're going to get that SAVE Act passed. And no matter how many executive orders he signs, it's not legal.
No.
So
I think a good question would be, though, if he signs the executive order until it's challenged and fought in court, do states have to adhere to it, though?
no, and I'm sure states already have the paperwork preliminarily filled out to file the minute he does something. It's going to be within minutes. It'll be in court.
The thing I guess I would worry about are some of the states who obviously are very Donald Trump-ish and Republican-leaning. Will they use that executive order to do just what the executive order says, right? Like that's what I worry about because and granted, in some of those states, you were never going to get anybody to flip votes and it was most likely going to be a red-leaning state anyway as far as voting goes. But will they use those executive orders to diminish people's rights while they're being fought in court?
Yeah, maybe.
Because those governors are going to do exactly what this president says. I think of a Sarah Huckabee Sanders, right? If he signs an executive order, she's going to do it.
That's true. Well, it's going to be,
Yes, Roger and Stephen's point. The polls are now officially open.
Thank you,
You
Roger.
are correct.
We have a clock. What time is it, baby? What time is it? Is it time to vote? Is it 7 o'clock in the morning?
Do you ever wake up some days and you just
No, I never do. I
but you
wake
feel
up.
drunk. Like you get up and you've got that feeling of being hungover, even though you haven't had a drop of alcohol, just because the news is just so insane. There are days that happens where I'll look at my clock and I'll be like, gosh, I remember this feeling from long ago. I really hated that feeling, and that's how I feel right now.
Yeah,
I don't love that feeling.
No, it's
And if you're all of 23 like Parker, you should be waking up with that feeling more often.
Or you could. Unfortunately, Parker doesn't have the luxury of being oblivious at 23.
This is true.
I think more and more young people have abandoned that
Yes.
checking out mentality and are now, well, for their own survival, are getting more and more involved because, like, back.
Depends on who you ask, but yes.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I agree.
when I was 23, politics were the furthest thing from my mind
Oh,
because
yeah.
things were kind of just going along. You knew the big stories.
Yes, you didn't
knew,
have to worry about it, though.
Yeah, it wasn't every day going, what's this imbecile going to do today?
There wasn't this threat of like your rights and everything else being taken away.
No.
I read
No, the
something
basic
other
stuff
day.
you were secure in. That
Right.
this was how it was running. Was everything good? No, there were problems, but at least we weren't trying to keep people from voting
Right.
much.
We still wanted people to go get educated and go to higher education, and no matter what that looked like for them, whether it was tech, community colleges, whatever.
And there were still millionaires and billionaires, and there were people who needed more help, but we were trying.
Yes. I was thinking about your mariachi conversation from with your brother earlier.
Yeah.
That's like the most diverse thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, there's a lot of DEI in that band. I don't like it.
There was. It was. Oh, God.
That band is too woke.
Iker. I don't know where Iker was from, but he was Latin American. My brother and John were white,
Was he illegal?
and I don't
He's
care.
brown. He must be illegal.
Could
And
possibly have been here.
Ziad, I don't know where he was from, but I think he was. I don't know. Let's say maybe he had Middle East ancestry. I don't know, but yeah, it was a very diverse.
It's the most diverse group I've ever heard, especially here in Wisconsin.
We got 15 seconds here.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
7:06 right now. Thank you so much for joining us today. A beautiful sunshiny day. Going to be a little on the cooler side today. We're talking upper 30s to low 40s across most of the state. Tomorrow we're going to warm things up, but it's going to be very windy because you can't have one without the other, apparently.
Can't catch a break. That's all right.
We
This
can't.
today
We can't.
seems like an October day because I look out,
It
there's still
does.
no leaves on the trees, but
Yep.
it's sunny and it's cold.
crisp, and it's crisp in the
And
air. So, yeah.
It could be the last day of who knows if if things go as planned from our fearless leader. As you know, there's a deadline today, so let's check a few headlines from the war zone, I guess.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
Middle East. Here we go. Starting with President Trump's deadline is rapidly approaching for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face massive bombing of the country's infrastructure. Iran on Tuesday urged youths to form human chains around power plants, and its president said 14 million people had answered the call to volunteer to fight.
It doesn't seem like a group of people that's giving up. I'm just just
Well,
saying.
when you're a sovereign nation, you don't really roll over like some hourly employee at one of somebody's companies. You don't give in like somebody who you've threatened to primary if they don't agree with you. This is a country for better or worse, and we can not much debate on the worst part when it's around, but they're not going to give up. They haven't given up for 50 years.
No.
For generations, they haven't given up.
No.
You know? So
No, absolutely. We're talking generational leadership even in
Right.
this country. So
some blowhard with a comb over coming in and telling them to give up, they're just laughing.
Yeah. In other headlines from Iran this morning, the president reiterated threats to hit Iran's bridges and power plants, claiming the Iranian people would be willing to suffer if it eventually secured their freedom. Tehran warned the consequences of such attacks will stretch beyond the region.
Which is chilling. But we'll just leave that there for a second. Ahead of Trump's deadline, Israel's military warned Iranians not to use trains and to stay away from railway lines. The warning was issued on X, which, like the rest of the Western internet, is blocked across Iran. So it really did no good. But that's nice, Israel.
And finally, in headlines from Iran this morning, Mojtaba Khamenei has said in a statement that Iran's forces will not be deterred by the assassination of commanders. Now, remember, this is the same new Ayatollah who this administration has told us is in hiding and is probably dead. They've told us that several times over the last few weeks. Turns out that this regime stays hidden because of the fact that they know that they are constantly under threat from others and other countries, right? So
yes, his dad never came out.
No.
So why would he come out?
No. The guy has probably lived in whatever those underground tunnels that we know Iran's regime has. That's how they operate. They have underground tunnels. He's probably lived
It's a
most
true
of his
man
existence.
cave.
Right. He's lived most of his
Literally.
existence, I'm going to assume, in those or the compounds that his father, the original Ayatollah, had. And so he's learned a lesson or two, let's just put it that way, over the years.
I'm going to make a quick confession, because for the last month and a half, every time we start talking about the war, and anytime the word Ayatollah is mentioned, I immediately in my mind say, of rock and rolla. So just know that as serious as the conversation is, anytime one of us says Ayatollah, in my mind, I say of rock and rolla. Anyway, now it's time for some other. You didn't need to know that, but you do need to know this, Parker.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
All right.
We took Parker by surprise there.
We did take Parker by surprise. He was still reveling in my revelation.
Honest to God, I missed the mouse.
I saw you reach for something, but
Yeah.
that's all right. It's your birthday. You're already drunk. Hey, guess who's back? Steve Bannon. Did he ever really go away? He's a longtime ally of the president. You know that. Yesterday, he won a Supreme Court order that is expected to lead to the dismissal of his criminal conviction for refusing to testify to Congress. And why wouldn't he get away with it? The justices threw out an appellate ruling upholding Bannon's conviction for defying a subpoena from the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack by a mob of Trump supporters on the U.S. Capitol. The move frees a trial judge to act on the Republican administration's pending request to dismiss Bannon's conviction and indictment, quote, in the interests of justice. Well, that would be the opposite, I think. The dismissal, well, the dismal dismissal, would be largely symbolic. Bannon served a 4-month prison term after a jury convicted him of contempt of Congress in 2022. A federal appeals court in Washington had upheld that conviction. Bannon had initially argued that his testimony was protected by Trump's claim of executive privilege. Well, you are not an executive. So, yeah, Steve Bannon still rearing his greasy head.
I think it's interesting because Congress will always have the power to investigate. And at one point in time, people couldn't just ignore that. We do that more now when Congress issues some sort of subpoena. But if Congress does go that route, that's not actually optional. That's not how oversight really works.
Well,
at least it didn't. And then this administration came along in the first presidency, and now especially in this one. But, I guess you can stall, you can fight it, you can run out the clock at the end. It might not matter. And I think that should be concerning to a lot of people that, you can just have things dismissed that you don't really like in this current day and age.
I think it's ironic that their whole treatise is "Make America Great Again." Well, when Americans had to obey the rule of law, I think it was pretty great. But that's irony. So let Alanis Morissette sing about it, and I'll just keep weeping in my coffee.
Except her song wasn't actually about irony. We
know,
won't go into
but
that.
let's
this
not
morning.
quibble about
we won't
stop
parse
it.
that
It's
this
right in the
morning.
chorus. Call the grammar police later.
All right. In other headlines, and as far as stuff you need to know, a Washington, D.C.-based political organization has spent over $110,000 to support Mike Hallquist, who is the alderman challenging a city of Brookfield mayoral incumbent Steve Ponto in today's election. Now, the State and Local Election Alliance, or the SLEA, has committed around $111,000 on a Hallquist race for mayor, at least according to reports filed to the State of Wisconsin Ethics Commission. The group spent over $60,000 on mailing service, $36,000 on media, online advertising, and the rest of the money on transactions that were related to phone and text messaging ahead of the election, according to reports. Oh, the robocalls. We love those.
That's right.
SLEA drives money into city and county level candidates in swing states who are our last line of defense against Trump, according to this website. Now, the group's financial contributions aren't authorized by any candidate or the candidates committee, according to their website. Now, Hallquist actually told the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel that he only recently learned of this group's investment in his campaign. He says that it's something candidates can't really control. Oh, money in politics. There we go. He says, quote, I don't like outside spending in local races at all. Even if some organization is spending in favor of me, that doesn't change my position on the issue. Now, the majority of people directly supporting Hallquist's campaign are Brookfield residents, at least according to the campaign finance report that was certified at the end of March. Hallquist received over $400 from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, also according to that report. This is why outside sources being able to fund elections is bad because you don't know where the money is coming from, and they obviously have some sort of agenda, which is then meant to sway the voters. And your vote should be in a perfect world, which I know we do not live in, it should be free of those types of from that outside noise and those types of my gosh, there's so much that goes into these elections now. And what I think is as we've watched this one play out, there has not been as much money that has been given to the Supreme Court race in itself. Nope. And we'll get into the election in a little bit and how many have voted and things later this hour. But when you're looking at this with these outside influences, these local elections, this particular time around at the school board level, the mayoral race, it has been hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think that should be a really big story. And it's been talked about, but it's not been made to be as big of a story as I feel it actually is from these outside sources.
Well, that's because they say, oh, we don't want the money. Oh, but it's coming to us. Well, we didn't control it. See, with the outside money, it's easy to push it away. It's easy to deflect the blame. I didn't know. And listen. Yeah. I've got to take Hallquist at his word. If he doesn't know and if he doesn't like outside money, okay. But I don't know. Can you turn it down once you find out who it's from? Right. Can you send it back? I don't know. Because you go, $400 from the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. That's nothing. Okay, good. Well, it's at least it's Wisconsin, and it's $400. It's not going to. That's not going to turn an election.
Right.
Local citizens making donations, that's not going to turn an election. That's the kind of money you want. But we're also going to talk about lobbyist money later. So it is crazy. But let's move on to more you need to know. The Education Department said Monday it has terminated agreements that previous administrations reached with 5 school districts and a college aimed at upholding rights and protections for transgender students. So the attack on those people, and I don't mean those people, but that group of people, transgender students, continues the attacks. The decision means the department will no longer play a role in enforcing those agreements, which called for schools to take steps to comply with federal civil rights law. The districts affected are in Delaware, Washington, Pennsylvania, Sacramento, California, and Taft College in California under Joe Biden and Barack Obama's administrations. Those guys were losers. The department interpreted Title IX, which prohibits sex discrimination in education, to include protections for transgender and gay students. The Trump administration, however, has penalized schools that have made no efforts to accommodate students based on their gender identity. It has filed lawsuits in California and Minnesota over state policies permitting transgender students to participate in interscholastic sports. That is their big bugaboo. They believe every sport is just overrun with transgender athletes, and open civil rights investigations into schools and universities over their policy on transgender students. We know it goes back to being woke and DEI, and these people are using the bathrooms. They're very fixated on if a transgender woman who was born male is using a bathroom. That's horrible. We don't care about old straight billionaires molesting and more horrible crimes against young women, girls, but we worry that one transgender person might go into a bathroom. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, women's bathrooms all stalls, correct?
Usually, that's usually how it goes.
You don't have to trough it up like
nope,
guys do?
Not usually. That I've never been in one that is, and that would be the only time I'd be in that particular one because that's weird. But usually
okay,
there's
just
stalls.
checking.
it's vilifying somebody who doesn't need to be vilified, and this is
Well,
where I'm very thankful for Tony Evers, right, for just vetoing all of those trans bills that came across his desk that would have affected students and individuals. So, if you're concerned about people's rights, then be thankful for Governor Evers at this point. Should we quickly, because I know we only have a couple seconds, 40 seconds space. It's pretty cool. Whereas we're watching Artemis, they kicked off that lunar flyby yesterday. Magnificent views of never before witnessed a side of the moon, and they lost communication because of that far side for a few hours, which I don't know, that would seem scary to me, but oh my gosh, those images, Brian, incredible.
And they set the distance record, which was 248,000 miles by Apollo 13. Well, they've gone farther. They're beating that record right now by more than 4,100 miles.
Yeah.
This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. She's Jamie Mortensen, Civic Media Network.
Yeah, those views yesterday were crazy. What did they lose? Yeah. They lost communication for what, like
40, I think.
Yeah. That's
the longest 40-some minutes of.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine just the silence of space already.
Yeah.
And just being the only people there are
I can't
those
imagine,
people.
I can't imagine being mission control and just going.
Oh, there were
just
did
waiting.
you see images of Mission Control?
No.
Oh, the looks on their faces was just like you could tell. Yeah, those people were doing everything they could to like just not lose their mind until they got communications back.
Yawn.
Yawn.
Wow.
Could not care less.
What
Really?
does it take?
I pray for their
to
safety.
That's
I
a
hope
shame.
that's great. I couldn't care less about this moon mission. Not
Is
even
it just
a moon
because
mission.
they're not landing on the moon that you don't care?
What's the point of it?
To see if this.
There's some real stuff going on down here.
Yeah, and we want to get out of here. That's why
true.
we have to send people to space to see if it's possible.
Yes.
To
Yeah, we're not going
colonize
to be
somewhere
around
else.
the moon.
They want to They want to do something on the moon. That's part of what this mission's about.
Base.
Let's be honest,
base.
Brian. If they do, you and I cannot afford.
Good. Then let the people who can afford it, Trump and his
let him go up
loons. Yeah, let them go to the
That
moon.
I agree with.
I'll stay here and fight for a new society.
Yeah.
I've seen all those post-apocalyptic hellscapes and movies. I know what to do.
No, I think it's gonna be like Wally.
Dexter watches The Boys a lot.
I hear that's
The boys,
on Amazon.
I've seen a little bit of that.
Oh, Dexter and I've watched all of it together. We're waiting for I'm a little
Are they
behind
coming
him.
back?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe there's a new season coming soon.
Saw a commercial
Mhm.
for that the other day.
God.
Dexter goes, "Do you ever feel like we're living in an episode of The Boys and what I can't remember the main character's name. Anyway, he's
Homelander.
like Homelander is just like some less orange version of Trump.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we don't have any heroes on the other side.
We don't. That's just it. That's what we
10
were talking about.
seconds.
What about Susan Collins?
I'm going to come through this screen and punch you right in the throat.
Let's break out of the bubble and see what's happening out there in pop culture. It's Swipe or Stay on Daybreak.
7:22 right now. We are going to put the politics aside for just a moment, and our senior producer, Frank, is joining us for another edition of Swipe or Stay. How are you today?
I'm good. I was just threatened between breaks by one of our co-hosts.
Yeah, Jamie, you shouldn't say that to Frank. You really, I felt targeted. I felt triggered. Is that what the kids say,
to
Parker?
HR right now. I'm going
Brian
to HR
was
right now.
a little
I can't believe
triggered.
I was
sorry.
triggered.
But it's fine.
by Frank and his.
If you want to see the shenanigans in between segments, you can always catch our live stream, which is on our Facebook account, the Civic Media Facebook account, as well as our YouTube channel. That's what I'm here for. But yes,
nice.
we're about to do Swipe or
Let's do
Stay. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to read some vague pop culture headlines. Only good stories, Parker. And then Brian and Jamie are going to have to decide whether to stay and hear more or swipe on to the next one. In the event of a tie, the birthday boy, Parker Olson, gets to be the tiebreaker.
Oh.
Nice.
So like normal.
I know.
I
Yes.
was going to say, it's not really a gift. You do this every day.
It truly is. Parker,
Wow.
every day working
Decided
here
to
is a
do
gift.
Wow,
This
yeah.
is true.
Aw.
Every day working here is a gift. All right, story number one. former child star is making a career comeback in music.
I like a good comeback story. I'll stay.
I'm going to swipe.
Parker?
I'm staying.
Whoa!
Of course
He's been on a swipe streak.
He has.
It's like his Tinder fingers working. He's just used to swiping. All right.
That's what she said.
Amanda Bynes is the latest icon to make their pivot from acting to music. That's right. Amanda Bynes. Former star of The Amanda Show on Nickelodeon, who got her start on all that. She just signed a major record deal with Create Music Group, and I did look it up. Create Music Group is a real music group. They signed Jason Derulo.
I love you had to check. Though.
Yep, I did. And is releasing a new single called Girlfriend, which will be out on April 10th, which is this Friday. This is her return to fame after leaving acting in 2010 after her role in Easy A alongside Emma Stone. And since then, she's been involved in erratic behavior, some would say.
Yeah. Were people clamoring for her return?
I think there's a lot of people my age that want to see Amanda Bynes back on her feet.
I was just going to say, don't you think it's because people want to make sure she's okay?
Yes.
I mean, she was such a major child star, and then all of the allegations of Nickelodeon that came down on top of her. She's had so many issues mental health wise. She's kind of ebbed and flowed, and so I think people just want to make sure she's okay and want to see her succeed in some way.
And she was so good. Like, she was such a good young actress.
Yes,
like, I think she'd still be in some major motion pictures.
But that Dan Schneider, look what he did.
Oof. Him and his foot fetish.
That's right.
All right, moving on. WNBA star offered interesting welcome gift after being traded.
Oh, I know.
I'm going to stay.
I know the NBA star. I don't know this story, so stay.
WNBA star Angel Reese was traded from the Chicago Sky to Atlanta yesterday, and a popular local establishment offered her a nice welcome gift.
Was it that strip joint that was having the...
Hunk-O-Mania, all-male review in Atlanta, is offering Angel Reese and some friends a free night of fun on the house. Right. So my question to you two, I know Brian was just making a joke, but this is a real story. If you're Angel Reese, do you take the night of fun?
Angel Reese?
Would.
Yes. Angel Reese is going to do it.
Yeah, she's totally going to do that.
But here's the thing. Atlanta, for those that don't know. Hotlanta is known for this culture with many reviews.
Well, didn't they what was the story last week or the week before where they were going to do some big promotion?
That was with the Atlanta Hawks.
Team, right? With the Atlanta Hawks.
Magic City was going to do a big promotion that got shut down.
Yeah.
So Angel Reese, if you want to endear yourself to the city of Atlanta,
go
to Hunk-O-Mania.
Yeah.
And hopefully they bring out the A squad. Hopefully you're not getting like the Tuesday night.
Oh, or
like
the afternoon shift.
SNL?
Yeah, the afternoon shift where it's like
with the lunch buffet.
Correct.
Hey,
no,
you have me
foot long hot dogs.
Give me a breakfast
bratwurst, all you can
buffet.
eat.
Give me a breakfast buffet. I'm in. All right. Actor shuts down popular TV show revival chance.
Oh, I think I know this. Stay.
I'm going to swipe.
Parker?
Parker.
Swipe.
We're swiping. Popular rapper was shot at casino.
Oh, stay.
I love some beef. Yeah, I'll stay.
Not sure if it's beef just yet, but Migos rapper Offset was shot. Well, it's under investigation, Brian. Okay. Migos rapper Offset was shot yesterday near the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida yesterday. We can confirm Offset was shot and is currently at the hospital receiving medical care, according to his reps in a comment. He is stable and being closely monitored. So here's the thing. Reports say that he had a very friendly presence leading up to the event. Witnesses say he was mingling with fans, taking pictures while walking through the lobby earlier, and shots were fired around the valet area. 2 suspects are currently detained and being questioned by the police. We're going to find out if there is, in fact, beef, Brian.
There's
Interesting.
got to be. Nobody
There's
gets
gotta
shot
be
without
beef.
beef, Frank.
It's true.
It'd be, yeah.
Last
Just
one.
opens a weapon.
Last one. Child actor turns down massive payday to appear in sitcom special. 2 child actor stories today.
I'll take this one. I'll stay.
I'll stay.
Eric Sullivan has turned down the chance to reprise his role as Dewey in the show Malcolm in the Middle. Malcolm in the Middle alum's on-screen mother, Jane Kaczmarek, revealed that he turned down buckets of money. He's happy being an academic right now.
Good for
Doesn't
him.
want to do it. That's swipers
For
say.
him. Nice job, Dewey. I was on an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. Did you know that?
What?
No.
Yep.
No, you weren't.
What?
Yes,
Wow.
Yes, I was. Parker, why would I lie about that? It's easy to check.
Wrap the
episode
break
was
up.
called The
We're talking
Mini
about
Break.
this later.
Why?
Okay, hang on. What now?
Calling me a liar? Look up. Yes.
Hold on now. Wait,
The episode was
just a
called The Mini Bike. It
second.
was a small part. I was Cadet Drew's dad, and I had to learn to play the water glass xylophone for the episode.
Wow.
Yep.
How hard is a water glass xylophone?
It was pretty tough, but all I had to do was like 5 or 6 notes.
Drew's
1,000
father,
times.
Malcolm
Yeah.
in the Middle.
Yeah.
I have many TV. Well, not many. I have
Brian
a few
was
TV
also
credits.
on an episode of In-Laws.
Yep.
It's All Relative.
Correct.
As a Red
Chicago
Sox
Med.
fan.
Correct. Where I
Chicago
pulled my
Med.
shirt off.
That was in 2018.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. Why would I lie about something that's so easily checked? Who am I, the president?
I don't know. It could have been a throw.
I was.
Facts don't matter, Brian.
No.
You can just say
They
things.
do to me.
My wife is hiring somebody right now and is going
yeah?
through resumes. And she looks at me at one point and goes, I've realized you can just put anything you want on these
Oh,
things.
yes.
She goes,
Yeah.
graduated cum laude. She goes, I don't care. I'm not going to check. She goes, I think I'm just going to do that from now on.
Just put stuff in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to ask?
I feel like it's a hassle to check. So,
That's what I mean. There's so many resumes. Who's checking that?
Yeah.
And I don't
No,
care
I
how
figured
you did in
a
college.
bold comment like that. I will say it gave me really great admiration for Bryan Cranston because they put that guy through the ringer on that show.
He
was
does
covered
some-
with bees. He was always smiling. He was happy. And then it's funny. I get to when I watch shows and the kid he was a young man at that point who played Cadet Drew is on other stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. That was my son at the military
look at that.
academy.
It's my boy.
That's my boy.
But you realize how much they spent. They must have spent so much money having this music coordinator work with me all day
Yeah.
for one shot that lasted 5-10 seconds at
Yeah.
the most. Yeah. Because it was like, okay, we don't like it this way. Do we want him playing it with his finger? That's how I had, when I auditioned, I did it with my finger and practiced it with my finger at home, but then they wanted it with the batons. Deet, deet, deet. And it took, well, let's do it to this song. No, let's do it to this song. No, and I'm like, my God, it must be nice to have network money.
Right. To worry
'Cause-
about that kind of stuff.
Man, they spent a lot.
We're a network.
Plus, I got paid. Yeah, we're a network. Where's my network money?
That was a good Brian Parker.
Real network, Parker.
I'm submitting ask for cap cut. So.
Please.
Well, the thing you just sent us in the message just broke on AP too, Parker.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
we'll
Start
start
with
with that before we get into our election primer, and which is why it's so important to vote. There's your
Yeah.
tie-in.
Yeah.
There you go.
How is this not? How is this not enough for
Impeachment.
25th Amendment? Well, he's been impeached twice already, Frank. Oh,
Yeah, does the word mean anything anymore?
No.
no,
Did
nothing
those
means
impeachments
anything.
mean anything though?
No.
No.
Because
Not
they didn't
to-
convict him.
Not
so,
to this GOP.
And yeah. And even then, they were done in the last week of his presidency. It didn't matter.
It was supposed to keep him from running for president again.
Yeah, well.
That didn't work. And
No.
you
Like,
got
is
the president
anybody
to
in
stay out of
Congress
jail.
going to do anything?
No,
Like, literally anything?
no,
Well,
No, the
what
only-
what at this point? What can the Democrats do?
Dude,
nothing.
I don't know. Sit in?
I know.
The
It's-
only,
yeah,
the only,
Start punching people? I don't know.
yeah. Let's get
only-
crazy.
Let's-
As Batman
you want to
would
get
say.
nuts?
You want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
That's what I want. I want somebody to get
the
nuts.
only GOP that have a backbone right now are the ones who would work with the Democrats, are the ones leaving office.
well, they're
the
not
only
leaving until
ones.
November.
15 seconds till we're back here.
Ugh.
Now back to more of Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
7:35 right now. We hope that you are having a great start to your morning. If you're listening in Appleton and Oshkosh on WISS, or in Eau Claire on 93.5 The Tap, or in La Crosse on WLCX, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And good morning, I'm Brian Noonan. I want you to weigh in on what you're about to hear. We want to get your feedback on this because this is breaking news. It just came out. Parker saw it break on Truth Social, and it just came across the AP. Donald Trump has once again gone to social media, and this is verbatim. I am not will not editorialize it at all. This is his post on Truth Social. Quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." End quote. That is a post from your president about what could be happening in Iran tonight. Again, a war that he started by choice in order to, under the guise of no nuclear weapons, which Iran has been accused of having nuclear weapons for 30 years. They never have. There was no evidence that they did. Now he is threatening to wipe out an entire people. And Congress does nothing.
They're not even in session.
They're not in session, but they were doing some pro forma hearings yesterday
Sure.
about stuff. And this is, so Jamie, you hear that. What's your initial reaction to this?
I try to be realistic and try to be level-headed, right? I think you have to be, and you don't want to jump to conclusions because we don't know. And this president does have a lot of bluster behind him, right? I'm hoping that where my mind is going, I am completely wrong. I'm hoping we aren't talking about the U.S. and dabbling in nuclear weaponry. I hope I am wrong. I want to be wrong on that. And there is nothing inside of me that would hope to be wrong more than that feeling that I keep trying to squash a little bit. I think it's disgusting. I think it's sickening because we have because even if you are talking about the regime of Iran and what they have done to their people, there are still civilians at play. There are still families, there are still children, and we are talking about a lot of people who did not ask to be part of the country of Iran. They did not make it easy on their citizens to ever leave the country. And we are also talking about a president of the United States who has taken it upon himself to basically threaten those civilians. And I think it's gross. I think it's disgusting. And I hope that it isn't going in the direction that my mind keeps taking me in.
And for everyone who stands in this country and says, well, we're not behind what the government is doing, take that to Jamie's example. And there's a lot of people in Iran who are not behind what the regime has done for the last 37 and more years. There are people who live there, and this should be an alarm for everybody in this country, whether you voted for him or not. We should be on the phones right now calling our representatives saying, you've got to do something. Get back in session. This has to be stopped, because if you listen to the rhetoric coming not only from Donald Trump, but from Pete Hegseth and everybody else who's in that little circle that is, Pete Hegseth, let's be honest, had his broker buy defense contracts the day before it started. This whole regime, and that's what we are living under now. We don't have an administration. We have a regime that is doing nothing but enriching themselves at the cost of thousands of lives overseas. 13 of our own service people have been killed. This is an abomination. This is the kind of thing that is right there is an admission of the intent to commit a war crime. You are threatening to bomb and kill everybody, not just military installations, which are under the rules of war, which seems like a misnomer anyway. Rules of war, but They wanted to make this a religious war. They believe God is on their side. They believe they are righteous avengers. Yes. He keeps calling people terrorists. They're only terrorists if they're attacking you. Inside, when they're just at home, they're not terrorists. And it shows the ineptitude that this whole administration continues to put on display, not only here, but across the world.
I think one of the other things that my mind keeps going to is I hope that there are people like Dan Kane from the Joint Chief of Staff who has calmer heads about whatever's to happen. Then I also think about some of the things that Pete Hegseth did last week, like basically forcing one of the former generals to retire. Is that because he disagreed with what's about to happen, or whatever this bluster, this rhetoric, whatever a potential move might be? Because that's dangerous. And the leadership that we have seen in this country who has kept us from making really stupid choices or doing something that takes you into the brink of no return. And again, we have no idea what could happen tonight. This could be all bluster from the president. We have no idea. 8 p.m. Eastern is all we keep being told. So that's what we just have to wait for. But if it isn't bluster, and let's say it's not, who are the calmer heads, and where did those people go? Have they all been forced out by the administration? Yes. Is there nobody is there nobody in the room anymore who can actually talk them down into making really bad choices? Is that where we're potentially at? Because that's not just a danger to the people here in this country. That's a danger to people across the globe.
And where are our future leaders? Where are people like Mark Kelly? Where are other, even Republican Congress people, senators, representatives? They can't all be behind this. Why are we not hearing from them nonstop? Why are they not coming back into session and screaming and yelling and saying this can't be it? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Dick is in Madison. He's been hanging on. Good morning, Dick.
Well, unfortunately, all these people are certifiably insane, and you don't have to be, a shrink to I'm not practicing something that I shouldn't be by saying this. They display it every day, but this is getting crazier by the minute. Mm-hmm. And I totally agree with you guys. Where are our representatives? I mean, this is not funny anymore. I told your screener, this is like living in the Onion, only it's not a funny version of it.
Right.
You got Hegstead. What did he say yesterday? Something about getting the 2 pilots back was like the resurrection. Well, first of all, the president told us that they didn't even have the capacity to shoot down these planes, and yet they were. Yeah. And I'm all for the fact. I'm very thankful that they were rescued. But the point is, they should have never had to have been rescued. Shouldn't have been put in the position. We shouldn't be there. This whole thing is just. And then you got one last thing. The vice president's been gone and out of the picture, but he's basically campaigning for Orban in Turkey as we speak.
Yeah.
Yep, it is, as you mentioned, Dick, the insanity. Thank you. Yes, thank you for the call. The insanity is maddening, and it's very hard not to feel helpless at this point. So Mark in Prairie du Sac said he just called Ron Johnson's office to say stop to say stop to Trump. Johnson's staff never answers the phone live.
Oh,
but
I'm surprised he even got through. Usually Johnson's voicemail is full. That's been a problem in the past as well, and that's a fact because we've had several people, and I've even called just to check it out, and it's usually a full voicemail. So the fact that you were even able to leave anything today is progress.
Well, that's good. And if you're just joining us and you're like, what are they talking about? What fresh hell has been unleashed today? And that's exactly what it is. This just about 10 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago, was released by the president on Truth Social. Quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. End quote. That was confirmed not only from Truth Social, it was on AP, it's across all the networks now. It's out there. This is what the president of the United States is putting out. Now, this is the same president who says we don't give details of our plans because then the enemy knows what's happening, and in the next breath he's doing this.
Yes.
And Jamie gave a nice master class on the 25th Amendment yesterday. So if you missed it, I think it's on a podcast. Parker, would that be correct that the 25th Amendment thing is on a podcast?
Yes, you can go to civicmedia.us and then you go to our show tabs. You can find Daybreak and hear that segment.
Because there's 4 different, if I recall, and I paid attention in class yesterday.
Yes.
4 different sections of the 25th Amendment. The one to remove someone from office is a little more complicated, but it seems like we are at the point where the ground has been laid. There's enough there to at least proceed. The problem is you have to have the vice president and the cabinet behind him. And this is not going to happen.
Yes, the vice president, you're exactly right. The vice president and the cabinet basically have to make the move to Congress, and it requires Congress to act in both chambers with 2/3 majority in order to invoke Section 4 of the 25th Amendment. So if that's what people are hoping is going to happen, again, go over to civicmedia.us. We'll lay it all out nicely for you. But if that's what you are hoping is going to happen, or you think that there is some prayer that this might happen, if you're a praying type person, probably think again, because I don't see this cabinet doing anything. Not with as much accolade as they throw on him in their meetings that are public. They make them public. I don't see J.D. Vance being the one to bring the Section 4 of the 25th Amendment against the president. And I certainly do not think, because the Section 4 is intentionally made difficult, I certainly do not see the GOP getting in line, especially with Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House, to invoke Section 4 of the 25th Amendment against the President of the United States. It's just not going to happen.
I have never been a big conspiracy guy, but a lot of the events in this administration lead you to go, well, maybe they're not so crazy, unless this was part of the plan. J.D. Vance is over there with Orban.
Sure.
He's getting the blueprint for what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps the plan was by some dark cabal, and I know I sound just like the Pizzagate people, but to get to a certain point where if it ever came to the point that they were ready to get rid of Trump, you hear even some of his staunchest supporters have been breaking ranks lately. Maybe that was the plan. We're going to get rid of him at some point and install JD, because JD we can really mold, because that guy has zero spine, zero ethics. He's changed his persona and his backstory and his morality so many times. JD is going to be easy to manipulate. So is it that far out of the question? Probably. And I'm sorry to even entertain conspiracies like that. But when we're sitting here on what could be the precipice to who knows what.
We don't live in normal times, and this administration makes you think in ways that you probably never thought you could possibly think, or in things that you never thought you would possibly believe. And sometimes I think that's their goal too.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna give you a little primer on the election, because that's the only thing we still have going for us, is that we can vote.
We can still vote. We can still do it as
For
of right
now.
this moment.
So you should be doing it. You should be doing it right now. This is Daybreak, and this is the Civic Media Network. Yeah, let's do the primer. I don't feel happy to talk about the Sky Couch. We'll move that to tomorrow.
Perfect.
Because
I think people need to.
Bigger
if you,
fish to fry today.
If you weren't going to go out and vote today,
yeah.
And I'm talking to you, live stream. If you weren't going to go out and vote today, or you're on the fence about why you even should, I know that this is just a local, basically, election. I get it. But politics starts at the local level, and that's where you make a real difference. And we have so much money flowing into our local elections between the school boards, the mayoral races, the city councils right now. So if you were on the fence about voting, please, please go vote. Take a friend with you. If you're not registered, please do so. We'll talk about all of that in the next segment. Voting is still our superpower, people. For the time being, it is still our superpower.
This is really, I don't think it's dramatic to say it's scary.
It's very scary.
This
terrifying.
This is not the kind of talk from a sane, rational person.
No.
And if he thinks the threat is going to scare Iran, he again is
scared.
woefully
They're not
inaccurate.
scared. They're not scared. There's still pride of country there.
Wow.
We've got Tracy from Johnson Creek saying that there are no rules or laws to follow. Military needs to step up, ignore orders, and no yes men generals, I'm assuming was what that meant.
Yeah.
Mr. Plow King says, over in our YouTube's chat, says, like the cowards in the cabinet would 25th him. He's more likely to get impeached and removed. Well, we've tried that.
We impeached him twice. I was hoping I always count on Mr. Plow King to come with a funny comment, but there's no funny today.
I believe Mr. Paul King is referring to J.D. Vance there. I'm not positive. I believe that's when that comment came up. J.D. Vance is more likely to get impeached or removed.
Perhaps.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Plowkey. I believe that's what that was.
PK, don't put words in the mouth of PK Parker.
Sorry.
Which also has a PK in there.
Hey man,
please.
I try.
It's your birthday.
Trying, man.
Don't ruin your birthday.
There's no excuses. Don't put words in his mouth, even though it's your birthday.
You ain't the boss of us on your birthday.
Have a truffle.
Believe me, I am eyeing them. But that cannot be the first thing I eat.
Oh, he was talking about. He says Mr. Plow King says he was talking about Trump.
Okay, my bad. I be wrong sometimes.
There is going to come a point of retaliation on us.
Yes.
It's hard to. It's
15 seconds till we're back.
Across the state of Wisconsin, Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
7:52 right now. Thank you so much for joining us on a bright and sunshiny day, even though the temperatures are going to be much cooler across the state, upper 30s, low 40s for a good majority. But you know what? It's still a perfect day to get out to the polls and vote, Brian.
Please, this is the day, and we still want to hear your response to the president's post on Truth Social. If you didn't hear it, this is it. No editorializing. Quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." End quote. That was the president about 20 minutes ago on Truth Social. Want to get your opinions on what you just heard? 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. You can call or text. But Jamie is right. There's no excuses today to not go out and vote. It is, if nothing else, it can make you feel a little more in control of what is an event, a mood now based on this and the comments the last couple of days that would create hopelessness in a lot of people, and rightfully so. When you think there are no more rules, there's no more law, that we are trapped in a spiral led by a man who has no one's interest but his own at the forefront of his decision making. If you feel hopeless, you can go out and vote today. And even though it's local, even though it's the state Supreme Court, whatever, Jamie said this before, and she's right. This is where it starts. It starts in your backyard. It starts with these school boards. It starts with your local representatives, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the city council, whatever it is. This is where it starts.
This election in particular, we have seen, last time when we talked about the Supreme Court a year ago between Susan Crawford and Brad Schimmel, the big story was the money flowing in from all over the country, right? Elon Musk brandishing his chainsaw on stage, handing out hundreds of dollars for people to go vote. We haven't seen that, which means voter turnout is a lot lower this time around, which in Wisconsin, it's actually more to our normal levels of an election. A year ago, it was a little crazy because of all of the hype that election got. And obviously, when you're talking about the Supreme Court, we're talking about either retaining majority of 4-3 or expanding majority to 5-2, depending on who wins between the liberal judge, Chris Taylor, or the conservative judge, Maria Lazar. Here's the thing I'm going to say. That money that we saw flow into the Supreme Court election has not flowed into the Supreme Court election. It is flowing in, maybe not to the masses that it did a year ago, but it is flowing into those local elections. So if you want a say on your school board, if you want to make sure that your kids are still able to have all of the programs you want and they aren't going to ban books because there are certain school board members who think that your kids do not have the right to see those things, this is your election. This is where you need to get out. You need to voice it for the mayoral, for the city council, for the circuit courts, because there are several counties that also have circuit courts. So that is also going to hit you on a more local level. And of course, you've got the referendums. And let's be real, we've talked about it. If you are somebody who is trying to pay for housing, which all of us are, right? This is a tough choice for 72 school districts because we don't want our kids to not have good schools, but we also have to be able to afford things. And so I get that this is going to be a really tough choice, but this is your opportunity to make that opinion heard. And if you're worried about dark money flowing into the national elections, if you're worried about it flowing into your state Supreme Court races, or now flowing into your local elections, this is your opportunity. And Brian, we've talked about it, right? There are still several ways to get out to the polls today. They are open until 8 p.m. So if you can do it before work, that's great. Otherwise, you can do it after work. Any registered voter in the state can participate in this spring election. And you can go to myvote.wi.gov. You can check your polling locations. The best part about Wisconsin is if you're not registered to vote, you can actually do so today at the polls.
Nice. And what if I don't have my driver's license? What if I lost it? What if I moved recently and I have a utility bill, but I don't have my driver's license?
Oh, well, the DMV is going to make it super easy for you today because they are staying open until 6 p.m. across the state. You can go to their website, check your local DMV, check wait times, all of that. They are going to give you a state-issued ID so that you can register at the polls today.
You know it's important if the DMV is trying to make things easier for you. That is the anathema of the DMV. So if they are trying to help, take that as a sign to go, wow, this must be a pretty big deal, this voting thing.
Yeah, it is a big deal, and I get it. Here's the thing that I will say over and over. Politics in the state of Wisconsin, not for the faint at heart, right? Like, we do a lot of politics in this state. This is 2 of 4 elections this year for the state of Wisconsin, but this is your opportunity to truly get out there and get your voice heard on the local level where politics actually starts and is going to affect you the most. I say this all the time, and I know it sounds cheesy and corny. I've worked on Get Out the Vote campaigns, but voting is truly a superpower. And for right now, we are able to exhibit that superpower. I can't tell you what things are going to look like down the road, but for today, this election, or tonight, this is true. But for today, in this moment, this is our superpower. And if we want things to change, this is where we have to start.
Yeah. So you've got till 8 o'clock. No excuses. You've got there's no excuse. You can't blame the weather. You can't blame you're too busy. You knew this was coming. You had a chance to vote early. Well, that's okay. If you missed that, you can still go. I used to be a proponent of only going to vote on election day. Then life happens, and so there's been times I voted by mail. Times I took my early ballot and just dropped it off at the polling place. There's been I voted all different ways because I think it's important, and they try to make it as convenient as possible. So even if you still have that, if you ordered a ballot or you were going to mail it in and you don't have time, don't wait in line. Just fill out your ballot. Go drop it in the box at the polling place.
Right.
You don't have to wait in line. The ballot is the same. Your vote is still going to count. Don't let that ballot just sit in your house and then get tossed in the garbage tomorrow.
No,
use it.
You're going to regret that.
Yes.
You're going to regret it because we live in unprecedented times. Hey, I also get a sticker at the end. Do you know I have every sticker in a scrapbook that I've ever gotten from my days of voting?
Parker, raise your hand if you're surprised. Nope, no hands here. No, I wear mine that day, but then I don't.
I keep it in a scrapbook. It's all dated. All the years
lovely.
I voted.
Headlines coming your way after this. This is Daybreak. I'm Brian Noonan. She's Jamie Martinson. This is the Civic Media Network.
All right. The U.S. is hitting Carg Island right now.
Of course they are. I'm going to run to the bathroom. Whoa.
Well, we'll start with this one. He truly is a mad king, and we've let him get away with it.
It's a weird time.
Yeah. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope we get through the day.
Well, we'll make it. We'll make it through today, but we don't know.
Probably.
Well, unless Iran bombs us first.
Exactly. I said I wouldn't, but I'm doing it. I'm breaking into this.
Yeah. Listen, trust me, I'd be if I had a bag of
He's stress
that
eating.
4-pound Costco Cadbury mini egg bag here. I would be stress eating now. I would be going whole hog.
Oh God, I love when you open a bag and you can smell it. That's good.
That's good eating.
Yep, that's good.
Live up to your expectations.
I think I might have one more just to make sure.
I think you should, because you might get one, a freak,
You
one,
never
a
know.
rogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I was buying the tickets for the Brewer game, there's 3 of us going, and I was like, all right, just for giggles, let's look and see what it's like behind the dugout,
Yeah.
just to see. And it's, I think, $90 per ticket for behind the home play or for behind the dugout, which not terribly bad. I'm not
Right.
doing that though.
Okay.
But I read it wrong at first.
It was
I saw-
$900.
Well, yeah, I thought it was 90 total for the 3 tickets.
Oh, for the 3, then
Yeah.
oh god, yeah. Then you
So
jump. on it.
I texted my buddies and I'm like, so we're doing that, right? And they're like, yeah. And I start checking out and I go, oh, son of a no.
270.
Sorry.
That's different.
Sorry, guys. I lied. Not going to be doing that.
No, that's a little much for an April for an April baseball game. Even for your birthday.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Because what if they lose? See, that's always the role.
Yeah. They're playing the Nationals, so probably be fine.
I was on the Jeff Santos show yesterday.
You were?
He's a huge Red Sox fan. And he was like, "Oh, it's going to be bad." I was like, "It might not be."
It was a really good game yesterday.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
I texted him last night. I'm like, "See, it wasn't that bad." He's like, "Better would have been a win, but yes."
How is the Jeff Santos show doing?
Well, yeah. He wanted, obviously it was the primer before Election Day here in Wisconsin, so.
Sure. I don't know if I've actually got to listen to much of him.
He is,
I know he's kind of like
he's a populist.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, anytime I get to go on there and promote Civic Media and our show, so
Yeah.
get to give some shameless plugs.
If you came here from the Jeff Santos show, let us know. Put it in the comments.
Yes.
Get in the comments.
So he quick texted me yesterday, and he's like, "Do you have time today?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "If we're talking election."
Always talking elections.
That's all we do here.
Yeah.
So no, it was about a 10-15 minute hit, which I was told it was only gonna be like 5. So I was like, "Oh, we're still talking." Okay.
That means you're a good guest, Jamie.
No, that means he probably needed Phil for his big interview.
Jamie, take the compliment. Damn it. All right, 15 seconds.
Local news, community stories, and the conversations that matter most. Now, more Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
We hope that your morning's going well so far. Thank you so much for joining us. It is 6 minutes after 8 now. Polls officially open if you want to go cast your vote. In fact, Brian, you have 12 more hours to get to the polls. And a reminder, too, that we forgot to mention last time we were talking about voting. If you happen to be in line tonight when those polls close at 8 p.m., you still get to cast your vote. You get to cast your vote. So don't move. Don't let anybody tell you differently. That is your right to still cast that vote. And again, myvote.wi.gov if you want more information on Wisconsin elections. My name is Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. Let's get to some headlines. This just breaking about 2-3 minutes ago on AP. The U.S. has again struck Kharg Island, a critical oil hub for Iran. That's according to a White House official who was not authorized to speak publicly on conditions of anonymity. The U.S. hit military targets on the island. The strike comes hours ahead of a deadline Trump set for Iran to capitulate to his demands or face a major attack. As we've been reporting, he said earlier that, quote, the whole civilization will die tonight, end quote, if Iran did not make a deal. Trump has threatened to deploy ground troops to seize critical oil infrastructure on the island. Experts warn such an operation would cost the lives of many U.S. military members who would not be a decisive move to ending the war. The U.S. had earlier in the war struck several targets on the island, including air defenses, a radar site, an airport, and a hovercraft base. That, according to satellite analysis by the Institute for the Study of War and American Enterprise Institute's Critical Threats Project. So that just breaking that we have once again hit Kharg Island.
I thought it was interesting. We've got some text rolling in this morning. Gary from Madison, listening on WMDX, said that his first thought when Trump put out his latest tweet about ending Western civilization was that did he mean all of Western civilization? I think at this point you have to really start questioning what the president means. He makes these proclamations via social media. Doesn't usually speak to the public afterwards. And so as Americans, I think we have to just sit here and wait to see what the president actually meant, if anything. We don't know how much bluster is going into these threats of 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. In other headlines coming out of Iran this morning, earlier today, the country rejected a 45-day ceasefire proposal and said it wants a permanent end to the war. Iran's state-run IRNA news agency said Tehran conveyed its response through Pakistan, a key mediator, saying, quote, "We only accept an end to the war with guarantees that we won't be attacked again." That was according to the head of the Iranian diplomatic mission in Cairo and his comments to the AP earlier today.
Iran's president said today that 14 million Iranians, including himself, have volunteered to sacrifice their lives in the war. The figure is double the other figures mentioned by state media in the past about volunteers the government had been soliciting to by text message and media as the war went on. Iran is home to 90 million people. 13 U.S. service members have been killed. Just a reminder of the cost of this war for our people, but there's plenty more.
Yes, and speaking of that, the death toll from this war has now risen to more than 1,900 people in Iran and over 1,400 people in Lebanon. Iran's government has not updated its toll for days.
Yeah, this is not good. And we are going to we'll keep you abreast of anything that breaks while we are on the air, and then you can listen throughout the day and hear other updates. But things are changing quickly, all as we lead up to this artificial deadline that the president has decided to place on Iran for capitulation. And I don't know, but when I hear that 14 million people, even if it's half that, have volunteered to sacrifice their lives for the war, that doesn't seem like capitulation is coming. It seems like an escalation is coming, and it's time for, I was going to say for this president to put up or shut up. I don't want him to put up. I want him just to shut up, because this is not how diplomacy is carried out. This is not how negotiations are handled. And I don't care what your thoughts are on former administrations. The deal he's trying to get, allegedly, is the same deal that Obama had put in place. But you're going to focus on money that was frozen by us, that was there, rightfully theirs, and we just returned it. And this was not about nukes. This was about tearing up Obama's deal, because Obama lives rent-free in his head, and it's about stealing that oil. That's what this is about. And about pretending that you're the tough guy of the world, and finding out, because you effed around, now you're finding out that this was a country that was not going to back down to you. And now, potentially you're putting not only our service members in harm's way, you're putting civilians in Iran who had nothing to do with this regime, you're putting them in the way. And if our leaders cannot see this and stand up, I don't know how we can't think that all is lost. And that is a horrible, horrible way to think, and I never thought I would think that way. But man, on a day like this, it's really hard to not look at the worst case scenario and say, yeah, well, why wouldn't we expect the worst case scenario?
Yeah. And unfortunately, with this president, don't we usually expect a worst case scenario?
Sure. Yeah, but the jobs we're probably doing great on the job front, Jamie.
Well, we're going to get there in just a moment, especially here in Wisconsin. I think, Parker, we need to talk about more you need to know.
Oh, that's right.
It's a wake-up call in more ways than one. Time for some you need to know.
I've lost complete track of where we are because of this. Yeah, I jumped to the second story in you need to know instead of just waiting. Because Listen, I've already talked about him enough. You can take the
Okay.
first story,
All right.
please.
All right. Let's talk about we'll talk about the president and in light of what's happened today with the social media post that he now has put out calling for an end of Western civilization if Iran does not capitulate. Yesterday, he said that he's not at all concerned about committing possible war crimes as he continues these threats of destruction. Speaking to reporters at the White House, the president refused to say whether any civilian targets would be off limits. Now, the president said that Iran could be taken out in one night, which might be tonight. That's a deadline he set for Iran to, as we know, reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He wouldn't say whether the war is winding down, and he called it a critical period that depends on Iran's actions. Now, the president did reiterate threats to hit Iran's bridges and power plants, which we've seen him basically double, triple, quadruple down on this morning, claiming that the Iranian people would be willing to suffer if it eventually secured their freedom. Turns out that they're willing to make human chains to protect their power structures, is what we've also learned today. Tehran warned the consequences of such attacks will stretch beyond the region.
Which is very, very chilling and not unexpected. Because if you're bombing me, I'm going to threaten to bomb you.
Considering yesterday, he said he has no problem with, basically, he doesn't think about what would happen if he committed a war crime. Today's Truth Social post should not be shocking to anyone.
No. He didn't really say that, did he, Parker?
I'm not worried about it.
Oh, all right, he did say it. Okay. Hey, here's not good news again. Wisconsin's unemployment increased slightly in January to 3.3%. That's according to data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. During January and February, the BLS conducts benchmarking, in which it validates the data it collected the previous year and checks for revisions. The number of people employed increased about 800 between December and January. However, compared to January 2025, the number of people employed was down about 18,600. The labor force also saw a similar movement as it increased 4,600 people from December to January, but was down over 17,000 people compared to January 2025. Wholesale and retail trade jobs decreased by roughly 10,000, while retail making up the bulk with a decline of 6,200 jobs compared to a year ago. Government jobs also decreased by over 7,000 compared to a year ago. Those decreases were nearly split evenly between all three levels of government, with local government seeing the largest decrease with almost 3,000 jobs, federal government with a decrease of 2,500, and state government with a decrease of 2,000 jobs. So, hey, the economy's booming. We're winning. So much winning.
One of the things that I thought yesterday was interesting is I saw people on social media saying, that's not that bad. Okay. If you look at it,
3.3 is not a horrible number.
It's not horrible, but I think you need to look at it where the losses are actually happening. When you're talking about retail jobs, the wholesale jobs, and then, of course, the government jobs down across the board, those losses aren't going to stay isolated for very long. When fewer people are working, that's going to essentially affect everything because local businesses, right? They get money. They get money from people who have money to spend. And if you don't have a job, you're probably not spending as much money, which means then you're going to start affecting the communities because fewer workers means less tax revenue for things like your schools, your roads, your services. And then, of course, it also affects families because even if you still happen to have a job, you might feel it through reduced hours, fewer opportunities, more competition. So it's going to affect everything across the board, contrary to what people are saying about, oh, this isn't that bad. And honestly, according to, if you look at the national average, it could have been a lot worse. So maybe here in Wisconsin, we should consider ourselves fortunate. That's with a question mark. I ask inquisitively.
Can I ask for clarification, Jamie?
Sure.
What happened a year ago, January?
Oh, a year ago in January, was that... there's a lot of things that happened in January, but that would be the day that President Trump took office and told me the economy was going to be bigger and better than ever before, and there was going to be so much winning and so much jobs, and the economy was going to bounce back like it never had before unlike under Joe Biden. Is that what you're referring to?
That's what I thought. Now, when he says the economy is going to be bigger, does that mean the unemployment rate? Was he talking about that is going to be bigger, even by a little bit? So it all kind of ties in, but that'll go unnoticed. Because why not? Hey, we mentioned this the other day, but the UW Board of Regents is considering firing their president, Jay Rothman. Tonight they're having a meeting. They're going to discuss whether he needs to be fired from his job as president of the university system. The public meeting, which was announced yesterday, comes a day after the AP first reported on letters sent from Rothman to the board and its president, Amy Bogost, in which he said he'd been asked to resign or be fired. In a statement Monday, Bogost said Rothman's future has been the subject of quote-unquote good faith discussions for months, and that the board has a foremost responsibility to ensure a healthy future for the 164,000 student university system. In his letters to the regents, Rothman said he had recently been informed that a majority of the board members had expressed no confidence in his leadership. He then described his record as system president, a role he has held since 2022. He touted his securing state budget increases system-wide, fundraising for buildings and facilities, increasing financial aid and mental health resources for students, and expanding flexible options for Wisconsin high school students and those transferring credits. So we will see what happens tonight at the big meeting. You're shaking your head.
I feel like I'm missing a lot of pieces to this.
If he did all that, why no confidence?
Right.
Well, he rarely wears pants to meetings. Oh, all right, I see. We'll do it.
I feel like there's things I'm missing there. But anyway.
What changes would you like to see to lobbyists' access to government officials? We'll talk about that after this. It is the Civic Media Network.
Oh, I love Alicia. She says she's got her voting sticker from 2024 when she got to vote for all women from the top of the ticket all the way down to the bottom. Yes.
All right. That's cool.
Yes.
If the stickers were different.
Yeah. No, they're not fun.
No, it's just the same.
Some places they do that.
Yeah, some have them. Like I've got some really cool ones from Minnesota.
Sure.
I like when they have a contest and kids design the I voted stickers.
Yeah.
Those I would keep, but I always get the generic I voted.
I have a couple of those from Minnesota where the kids got to design stickers. It was just something I started because I was so excited to be able to vote when I turned 18. And so I kept my first sticker, and then I was like, I just want to be able to remember all the times like I've actually performed my civic duty and voted. So it was a thing I started doing, and I label them and I date them and what like I label them because I want to know what election it was, and then I put like who the major candidates were that I was able to vote for, so that I can be sad in my lifetime that we're here.
Jamie, how did you make this nerdier? I keep them, I date them.
I do. I keep them and date them. But it was also very cool momentum because when I worked on Get Out the Vote campaigns, my director always had me bring it to show people like it's cool and it's important to be able to say you were a part of these things. So I know. I'm weird.
No, not weird.
I really do love voting.
I know.
I don't care who you vote for. I learned a long time ago when I was in college, one of my favorite professors always said to me, if you don't vote, you can't bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Been saying that a lot lately. Yeah, 15 seconds till we're back.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. If you want to join the conversation today, remember you can always call us or text us, 1-855-752-4842, 1-855-75-CIVIC. And hey, I want to give a shameless plug to our social media outlets as well. We haven't done that in a little bit, but if you want to see all the fun things that we do here on the show and beyond, we'd love for you to go check out our Facebook or our Instagram feed. Just check out and do a search for Daybreak with Brian and Jamie. Give us a follow, and you can pay attention to all the good stuff that we're doing, not only on the air, because believe it or not, we do have lives sometimes when we're not here.
It doesn't seem like it, but
not right now.
It doesn't seem like it, but we try. Good morning. I'm Brian Noonan, 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Yes, I say it fast because you should know the number by now. And if you don't, I'll say it again another time. But what changes would you like to see in lobbyist access to government officials? We talk about outside groups donating to campaigns. We don't always pay a lot of attention to lobbyists, the dark secret of government, unless we're talking about there was a bill that came up about limiting how soon after someone retires from the assembly they could become a lobbyist here in Wisconsin. But it came out today that companies, interest groups, and others have spent over $47 million on lobbying Wisconsin lawmakers last year, marking a decade-long high. That's according to a Cap Times analysis of state ethics disclosures. That is a lot of money. Top 10 lobbying spenders, some of the usual suspects. We hear these people all the time. Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, the Wisconsin Hospital Association, the Wisconsin Property Taxpayers Incorporated. Last year, though, DoorDash got in on the game, and they joined the top 10. They spent more than $2 million and 250 hours lobbying Wisconsin lawmakers for trying to support a proposal to exclude gig workers from minimum wage laws and workers' compensation insurance. So they spent all that money to make sure that they didn't have to pay their drivers more money. See how that works? Them who got it, keep it. Them who need it, don't get it.
Yeah.
If I may put it in the parlance of the street.
Here's the thing. I get lobbying as part of government. Right? It's always been a part of government, but it goes far beyond the opinions. It is about total influence over what policies are enacted. Because that DoorDash policy that you're talking about, that proposal actually made it through the Republican-controlled legislature before it made it to Tony Evers' desk, where he eventually vetoed it. But it is about who shapes Wisconsin law. Everything from our minimum wage rules to our worker protections to gambling laws to healthcare policy to property taxes. Those are not just arbitrary issues. They are hitting all of us and in our paychecks, our benefits, and our community. And when you are talking about $47 million coming in, it raises a really great question. Are the decisions that our lawmakers are making, are those based on what is best for actual people or the resources that they are getting out of that?
I think you know the answer to that, right?
I do know the answer. Again, it's
all right.
rhetorical
Very
questions.
rhetorical,
I want people
but
to think today.
I want people to think about it too. It's maybe it's not money per se in an envelope in the dark corners of the Capitol. Maybe it's just, we could use a person like you when you're done in the assembly. We would love to have you as part of our team. I'm related to someone who was a lobbyist for many years, and it is it's a dirty business. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. As you can imagine, the Sports Betting Alliance this year was big here. They spent about $263,000 trying to get involved in the online betting debate that is going on still here in Wisconsin. So that'll keep going. It just it's amazing how much money there is. And your question should be easy to answer. It should be, yes, they're working for their constituents. They're working to make Wisconsin a better place. Unfortunately, I do not believe that of any politician. I believe they are always despite, and this is both parties, so I'm not playing favorites here.
Both parties are very, very have a lot of influence from lobbyists. Let's be realistic.
And I believe they all act in their own self-interest because they want to conserve their power. They want to ensure a soft landing if they ever do decide to resign or get voted out of office. So maybe they have one eye kind of, so it's not so obvious to their constituents that they're not working on their behalf, but it's all for them.
You know, when I see the numbers keep going up, like $2 million from DoorDash this year, right? And then I think about it being election day. How is your voice being heard? You're not paying $2 million to get your voice heard. You're literally standing at the polls. You're making time to go to the polls, to be there today, to fill in your little dots, to have your opinions be heard. And again, no matter how you're voting today, that's your right. But you don't have $2 million to make that happen. Nobody's giving you the time of day because you aren't paying them the money to actually be there. You're doing your civic duty because you actually care about what happens to this state and in the country, depending on what election we're talking about.
Yeah, you can't put on a nice suit, walk up to your representative in the Capitol, and sway their opinion with who knows what.
With your number 2 pencil and your pen and your little dot, you do what I want, or I'm not going to fill. Nobody's going to do that because you don't have the finances to back that, right?
Yeah, and think about that. If you're a DoorDash driver, all the money that company spent to keep you from making minimum wage and having to get some benefits, and then use that to educate how you're going to vote.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we'd love for you to go vote today. Again, polls open until 8:00. Yes, I'm going to keep hammering on it because it is that important. In light of all of the news that we have talked about today, if that didn't persuade you to go vote, I got nothing left.
Unfortunately, we still have a half hour, we'll find something else to keep us going. Do the negatives of starting a domestic abuse registry outweigh the good of those registries? What are we talking about? Well, stick around and we'll tell you after this. This is Daybreak on the Civic Media Network.
Frank, I just saw in the AP, big story for Swipe or Stay.
What could it be?
I can't tell you. It's for Swipe or Stay.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't go look right now.
No.
I'm on there already.
I was going to say, so am I.
Well.
Is it in sports or entertainment?
Entertainment.
Did anybody see the story about how Tiger Woods' tape after his rollover, he was actually on the phone with the president? Did anybody see that?
Yeah.
I saw Charles Barkley said that. I don't know if it's...
No, it was
he said that he was on the phone with the president.
He said he was on the phone, and there's actually tape because of the body cams and stuff that he gets out of the car and says, I was on the phone with the president.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude. Well, he's dating Eric Trump's ex-wife.
Really?
No.
The dog.
I'm sorry, Donald Jr.'s ex-wife.
Guilfoyle? Or a different
No, his ex-wife. That was his ex-fiance.
Oh, okay. Guy pulls so much tail, I can't keep track.
Didn't think there'd be a Guilfoyle reference on here.
I just
yes,
love that
Parker, I saw the story.
I just love that she's still an ambassador. How awkward, because she was supposed to be coming to the White House in the next couple of weeks or something, too.
Well,
awkward.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Hey, it's National Beer Day, Frank.
Oh, that's such a better topic.
Great day to drink. Let me tell you. I tell you what.
I don't think I need an excuse, but today I have it.
Parker, make sure you go drink some beers.
I'll try.
Is it always on April 7th?
In my beer.
For a second, I thought you meant my birthday.
Well, yes, your birthday's always on April 7th.
What's up, Parker?
Parker, is it always 4/7? Are you sure?
Holy cow. Buy a beer, get a beer a penny at this brewery that I like.
Damn.
That sounds amazing.
That's
Yeah.
dangerous.
It is dangerous because I got a shit ton of pennies in a carafe downstairs.
When you said I was a nerd, Mr. Plowking said, but she's our nerd.
Yes, I
That
know.
was very sweet.
You are our nerd, but
are.
that may have been the nerdiest thing you have ever said. And that is a high bar, Jamie.
No.
On this program,
Oh, you just wait.
Corey's probably listening going, dude, you have no clue.
Oh, he probably is. He's on his way to up
UP.
north again. I don't know what time he was leaving. There's some studio issues in the rebuild.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them are going up.
Yeah. Eric's already up there.
Okay.
Drew had some things that he wasn't able to go, which is why I think Corey's going. I don't know. He sprung that on me about 8:30 last night. By that point, I was like,
Whoa. 8:30 at night was like,
Right.
by the way, I'm leaving tomorrow.
yeah,
Going
that's
to
pretty
the
much what it
UP.
was.
You know what? For a science experiment, I'm going to test that out.
I don't think.
Hey,
Mrs. Frank
I'm
is gonna like that.
I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I've got to go to Madison.
Oh, that's nothing because he's a storm chaser, right? So there are days that he'll wake up at like 8 o'clock and he'll be like, oh, I'm leaving for the next 4 days. Okay.
We got a storm to chase.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he'll be gone and he'll go chase for 4 days. And then the only way I know that he's still alive is if when I see his video pop up in his live stream on the Weather Channel, I'll be like, there he is. All right. Yes.
All right, he's still there.
I feel fine.
He was in a tornado. You know that, right?
Yeah.
About 10 years ago.
You showed Dominic that video,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I told
He
you
was
that.
in a tornado?
Yes. It went right over the top of him. Radar went down, and they were chasing, and they went right instead of left because they didn't know a tower in Omaha went down, and it was during the Little Sioux Boy Scout camp when that camp got
All right.
obliterated, and unfortunately people died.
And on that note, we have 10 seconds until we're back.
Wisconsin wakes up here. Back to Daybreak with Brian and Jamie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us on today. If you are in Wisconsin Rapids listening on WFHR, or in Hayward on WBZH, or even in Wausau listening on WXCO, thank you for spending your election day with us. We do appreciate it. It's 8:35 right now. I'm Jamie Martinson.
And I'm Brian Noonan. Good morning. 855-75-CIVIC is how you get a hold of us. 855-552-4842. This is not a political story, but it kind of is. And I know we are keeping our eye on everything that's happening. So far, nothing, thank God, nothing new since we last reported.
Yeah.
The strikes on Carg Island and the president's Truth Social post this morning calling for predicting the end of a civilization. He doesn't want to do it, Jamie, but he just might have to. So
yeah, that's what we're told, right? I'm going to hope that there's some calmer heads around the president of the United States today.
Ha! Good luck. Good luck with that. But I saw this story and it's an interesting concept, I think, because unfortunately, so many women in this country are victims of domestic abuse in one form or another. Amanda Martin was one of those women. She was abused by a man she was dating. After that, she suffered from years of PTSD. So she thinks she can help women avoid the same fate. She's been advocating for Tennessee to implement a domestic violence offender registry, much like the ones that are out there for sex offenders. And you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds like a pretty good idea. In January, Tennessee became the first state to establish a database like this. It contains the names of people who were convicted of or pleaded guilty to at least 2 domestic violence offenses. So there's 12 other states that have proposed legislation like this. There's a lot of groups that are dedicated to stopping domestic violence, though, that oppose these registries. So, Jamie, first blush, what's your thinking on this sort of thing?
I think that it's a fascinating concept. I'd have to know more about how it's going to work, simply because there are several individuals who never actually who never go to the police because they're scared.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that there's still a whole lot of perpetrators, we'll call them, assailants, we'll call them, whatever you want to call them, that never would make it onto this registry. Therefore, they fly under the radar, and that would mean they continue to harm individuals, right? Women,
Mm-hmm.
presumably.
Yep.
Men are also victims of domestic violence, though, as well. So I don't want to lump them all into one group. So at first glance, I think it's a good concept. I worry about the people who would go unchecked, though, and I think about that too with sexual predators. We know that there are a lot of them who don't make it onto the registry, but I think when it comes to domestic violence, because there's such a fear of loss of control, out of embarrassment, I think women just a lot of times just feel like this is their plight. We must deal with it like this. Or they end up leaving that relationship, and out of fear just to get away from it, they also don't report. So then you still have you have that person who still doesn't make it to a registry and then goes on to harm other people, which is the unfortunate part about registries like this in any capacity.
Right. Well, the stats show that 41% of domestic abusers, male domestic abusers, sentenced to probation, 41% of those go on within the next 2 years to do the same thing. And I've been thinking about this a lot since last night, and your arguments make sense, because one of the concerns that's been voiced by some of these groups is it takes away a little bit of privacy from the victim too,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to do this. And now, while the same might be able to be said for the sexual predators list, but if you're going to date someone, the internet is unforgiving. We do have the tools to go in and say, "Oh, I just met this person. Let me do a quick Google search on them."
Yeah.
And and that kind of thing. I don't know if this has been very confusing, because I understand the need for it, but I also understand, as I'm listening to the people who are for it, who fight for victims' rights, still saying no, it's probably not gonna be great, because the identity of the victim's coming out. Yeah. Like I said, if you prevent people from committing the crime with the list, that doesn't really work. The recidivism rate goes on. And if they're on a list, they figure that they don't have anything to gain. They got nothing left, so they continue to abuse. So if those are the cases, do the negatives outweigh the positive? And not to minimize domestic violence at all, but I think if you're dating or going to marry someone, and I know it can happen just on a first date,
Mm-hmm.
but there's enough ways to background check somebody.
There is, and I'll say in my particular case, as a sexual assault and domestic violence victim, it wouldn't have made a difference if we'd had this registry. He wouldn't have shown up on it when I was dating him, and he probably wouldn't have shown up on it afterwards. He ended up showing up on a sexual predator registry down the road, which again, bad decisions in life. You rethink those, and you thank the people around you for making sure that you understood that and then getting the help that you need. So he ended up on one of those registries. But it wouldn't have made a difference in my world if he would have been on this registry, simply because he had not victimized anybody beforehand. There wasn't enough for me to actually have charges against him. So especially in the late 90s. So it was just me having to navigate the world kind of by myself and through a really great therapist and a really great local organization. So I can understand why people are looking for answers, because obviously when you're a victim, or if you look at just numbers in general, it's hard to ignore. I mean,
Correct.
Here in Wisconsin, there were 99 domestic violence related deaths in just 2 years ago, which is about 1 out of every 3 to 4 days that we see somebody die at the hands of their assailant. 71% involved a firearm in Wisconsin, and that's not just one type of community. This is happening in urban and rural areas, and I know from work that I've done with different organizations over the past couple of years, COVID really exasperated things, especially in the state of Wisconsin. Now, I'm going to assume that's probably a broad number across the country, but I do know in the state of Wisconsin, the numbers of domestic violence and sexual assault increased because of COVID. Would people report those because they felt trapped in that circumstance? Would a registry of like that made a difference in that moment? I don't know.
All that being said and all that being valid, I tend to agree with this one Kentucky rep who brought it up, who proposed it there, and says, yes, I know there's all kinds of arguments against it. And I also realize the arguments against it, and they make sense, and the numbers are there and all of that. But if it gives victims even a little bit of closure, what's the harm? And, you know, if it stops one person from committing another act of domestic abuse, or if being on that list stops someone from going out with someone who could be a potential abuser, because I don't know, you have to have been convicted twice. So not to minimize the first offense,
right.
But you could always argue that away. You know, somebody, if they want to, they could try to rationalize that away. But twice, it's a pattern. And if that keeps somebody from down the road from dating somebody who might abuse them, I've got to side with the victims and say, you know what, we're gonna do this, and you know, we got to hope for the best. But if it makes the victim feel a little more in control of a situation that I can only imagine leaves you with zero feelings of control, I've got to go on the side of, let's do the registry. Screw the people who are going to be on it. If it hurts their future, well, then maybe you should have thought of that before you started punching people.
I was going to say they should really think about their actions before they worry about that.
Yeah.
And I'm always for a registry because I know, here's the thing. I know nothing, even in law, is foolproof, right? Like there's nothing that comes into law that doesn't have loopholes or doesn't miss some people. That's just part of life because you do have people who do just enough or just skate under that line, right? Or tiptoe it, whatever you want to say. So I understand that not everything in life is going to be ironclad and it's not going to be perfect. So I'm always about if we can raise more awareness and help victims, like I said, I equate it to the sexual predators list. And I know that's not 100% guaranteed all the time either, because it also requires reporting and every state has their own laws. So I understand that. So
do you ever look at those though? I mean, like I've looked a couple times. It's scary. I don't want to look at them, you know?
They're
like,
very scary. They're very
terrifying.
scary. And I feel like this one would be the same thing. I feel like it would have the same type of impact. And here's the one thing, though, that I would say. I don't know many people who have been an abuser. In my case, he was not ashamed. He was not embarrassed. He wouldn't have cared if his face showed up on this registry at all.
Are you kidding?
No, he wouldn't have cared. He wouldn't have cared. He didn't care that his face and eventually showed up on the sexual predator registry. That was not an embarrassment to him. Now, he didn't go bragging about it.
I don't mean to laugh, but that is...
He didn't brag about it, but at the same time, if somebody mentioned to it, he'd be like, yeah, I'm on it. Like, it wouldn't have mattered to him because that was just the callousness that he showed.
Wow. I don't know. Maybe that's the kind of person that you old yeller. Give him the old yeller treatment.
And that's just the thing. I can't understand that because I'm a very empathetic, sympathetic person. And I would be so embarrassed that my face or my name showed up on a list like that. But for some people, I just think, honestly, it doesn't matter.
What happens
because they
to
are
a
so
person like
awful.
that they lose all humanity? This is, I guess because like you, I try to be a good person. I try to follow the rules for the most part. I don't understand how you can get to that point in your life where none of that matters.
Yeah.
And what you do to other people, how you hurt other people is of no concern. It's the ultimate narcissism where it's all about me and what I want and what I think and feel. And but to not have any empathy for another human being it's upsetting, but it's more puzzling. I'm like, man, how can you even live like that? How do you go through life with that mentality? And when you can do awful things and not have them bother you at all.
I mean, but I guess I always equated it to, in my particular situation, if he was okay with doing the things he did, obviously it wouldn't have bothered him. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Because he was willing to do awful things all the time. So no, I'm sure it didn't bother him to see his face on a registry or to think that it was bad in any way.
See, I would think that for someone like that, doing those things in private is one thing. And you do them in private and you figure nobody's going to ever shine a light on you. But then once the light gets shined on you, I would feel shame for the rest of my life. I would go to the box and feel shame. That's a Slapshot reference, Parker. Just throw it in there. But see, again, that's the puzzling part of that psychology.
And my brain doesn't work like that, so I couldn't even begin to explain how that works or why it works like that.
I'm glad. No one should be able to explain why that is.
Agreed.
Are there certain treats that you only eat at certain times of the year? We'll talk about that after this.
Very excited about this conversation. 8:48 on the Civic Media Network.
I'm excited about it too because it means the end of today. Today's been a day.
Today's been awful. Alicia, good point. She says in her case as a DV survivor, her ex wouldn't have shown up because it was his first conviction as well as the abuse he committed on my kids in my first felony. Right.
Yeah, and if they don't do it again, they're not on there.
Right. So no, I'm always about a list. And because I understand that not everything is going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
Eric didn't have any empathy.
Wow. How does somebody start dating a guy like that? No, and you don't have to answer that.
No. I'm answer that. I don't know. It was one of those things where we met when we were really young. It was one of those things where it was not all at once, where he seemed great. And by the time you realize he's not great, you're so far into it. And he also played the if you don't stay, I will kill myself. Which for somebody who is very young and empathetic,
sure. Yeah,
you don't want to see him hurt himself. And so I bought into it multiple times.
Parker, that's another attitude that changes as you get older.
Yeah.
I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek, but
and
really.
For anybody listening on the live stream, this is something I've actually talked about publicly. So it's
That's the only reason I asked.
I've dealt with it. But my last straw was on my birthday when my two best friends were standing there, and he literally tried to run me over with the car. His bumper came to the top of my thigh, and I just remember my friends screaming, and because he was upset with me because he was late and I didn't wait around for him for like the extra hour that he wanted me to wait that night. And because my friends were home with me from college and we went back to my parents' house, and he got upset and he drove up there. And when I went to talk to him, he got in the car and he floored it and he tried to run me over that night.
Good Lord.
And my friends were watching it. And that was pretty much, you just have this moment when you just, for everything bad that had happened, you have this moment where you just know that if you don't make the right choice right this minute, it's going to be bad. And that was my moment. I was like, oh, he's going to kill me. So
Jesus.
That was my moment. But the break from him was hard because it was also a very emotionally abusive relationship. So my break from him was really, really difficult. It took me a really long time.
Yikes.
All right, we got 15 seconds till we're back.
across the state of Wisconsin. Daybreak with Brian and Jamie is back.
It's 8:52 right now. We hope that you are having a great morning. Happy Election Day. Remember, the polls are open. Supreme Court justices, a lot of local races across the state, and, of course, all of those referendums if you're worried about your property taxes. myvote.wi.gov if you want to know where your polling place is and all the rules and all the regulations you need at the polls. But we've got to talk this time around about some amazing food. I'm excited for this conversation, Brian,
Yeah, and
I have to say.
I'm wondering if there are certain treats you will only eat at certain points of the year. For example, I love punchkis, but the bakery that I get them from still is making them and selling them. No, this is not the time for punchkis.
Right.
I will not eat them. There are a Cinnabon. We have a Cinnabon once a year, maybe twice. Thanksgiving morning, and then sometimes Christmas morning. But now Christmas morning has stuff left over from Christmas Eve, so who knows? But those are things that I really enjoy, but I only associate them with certain times of the year. So that's the question for you at 855-75-CIVIC, 855-752-4842. Why don't we start with Cindy? She has one, and then we'll get into why we're talking about this. Hi, Cindy. She's in Appleton.
Yep, good. How are you?
We're great.
I am one of those who, in the fall, I have terrible cravings for like a week or two for BLTs because of the tomatoes coming ripe. And caramel apples because of the apples coming ripe.
All right.
So I do those for a week or two, and then I don't touch them again the rest of the year.
And you leave them for the rest of the year. All right. Well, that's it's an unusual combination, but I like both of those things. Cindy, thank you for the call. Jamie, do you have any of these that you only eat at certain times of the year?
I do. I'm very much a pumpkin pie person, but only around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I love pumpkin pie, but I'm not going to eat it probably in like August. Probably not happening. I'm also one of those people, and this is a family recipe. It's called chocolate dessert. It was my great-great-grandma's recipe. It takes hours to make. My mom used to make it, and I only associate that with Christmas because that was the only time we would pull it out because it's so hard to make.
Okay.
So chocolate dessert for me is kind of that thing. It's like a mousse kind of thing, but it's delicious. Old-fashioned recipe, literally hours to make it, though.
Parker, it is your birthday. Is there a treat that you only eat at certain times of the year?
I think sugar cookies are only a Christmas kind of thing. I don't think we ever have sugar cookies any other time of year.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Corey
now if
Hartman
I'm
would not agree with you on that.
if I'm somewhere and they have those iced, not that like the grocery store always has those real soft iced sugar cookies, but not those. I'm talking about like the smiley face cookie or like where the shape with the icing rather than frosting. I will eat those all the time.
Those
Doesn't
are
matter.
delicious. Yeah, absolutely.
But a sugar cookie, like if you just chop it up Pillsbury and throw in some colored sugar on it, I agree with Parker. That is a Christmas time thing. Now, Brian, why did you bring this up? Are you just trying to make us hungry? No.
Of course.
But for one weekend in April, the weekend of April 24th to the 26th, the Cream Puff Spring Fling is being put on by the State Fair. That is the thing. Now, I am going to add this to a treat that I will only eat during State Fair time. I'm not poo-pooing this. People are lining up. They're very excited because they're not only offering the original cream puff, but an orange dream puff. Yes, for this weekend only.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I love the cream puffs at the State Fair. They are, but it's a commitment to eat a cream puff. There's a lot to it.
It's a commitment. You're
you
right.
can't eat it.
I never
You
thought
can't
of
eat
it
it
like
in the
that.
car. Like I can't
You
like
can't
a donut.
take it.
I can drive and
No.
eat.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
have
couple
to have
sugar
like
cookies.
You have to have a place to sit. You have to have plenty of napkins.
I
You
gotta
might
have
need
a
your
bib. Yes. So and it immediately when I hear cream puff, I think State Fair. That's how they go together. But if you don't, and you're thinking to yourself, I want a cream puff in April, okay, relax. You can get one. You can place your order now through April 19th for discounted rates of $14 for an original 3-pack or $17 for an orange dream puff Dream Puff 3-pack. And then starting April 20th, those prices go up $17 and $20 respectively. So if you go to originalcreampuffs.com /spring fling, you can do that. And then you got to go down to the fairgrounds to pick them up, though.
Yeah, and then there's the traffic with all the construction, too. So plan accordingly, folks.
Bring a fork and just eat them in the parking lot. Why battle traffic with them in the car?
Here's my question for you. I'm kind of a traditionalist. So why the orange Dream Puff sounds amazing, I'm kind of a traditionalist, and I'd probably still go with just my regular cream puffs.
I tried last summer. I had they had a chocolate offering with the cream puff.
I'm a sucker for chocolate.
It was really, really good. So the OG is always the preference.
Sure.
But I am willing to try. They had an Oreo cookie one year.
Oh, that sounds good, too.
That was really good.
Maybe it's the orange that's a little bit more of an aversion to me. I'm not really a citrusy type person.
And I wonder if it's going to just look orange or if there's going to be because the original cream doesn't have a real, it's cream.
Cream.
It just, it's cream. So I'm wondering if there will be the orange flavoring in there. There's as we dissect the the Cream Puff Spring Fling, it almost sounds like one of our text to win contest names, but it is not.
Like
you have to buy these yourself.
I feel like I need to go buy these so I can just try them so we can have a discussion about this on the show. And if I'm going to take a hit and I'm going to go do something for the show, who says no to cream puffs?
Yeah, really. That would be. I'm looking at the dates. I'm emceeing a gala that weekend, so
can I get a variety pack? Can I get like one of the?
No, you got to buy 3-packs. You got to commit.
All right,
you just have to commit.
Well, maybe I'll buy a 3-pack of the original and 3-pack of the Dream Puffs because I know in our household they'd be.
I was
going
to say, I'm sure with all the folks in the family, you'll have no trouble.
Yeah.
Getting rid of 6 cream puffs between the 4 of you.
All right. Well, you know what I'll be doing after the show now? I'll be buying my cream puffs.
I love that every year people are lining up to go buy their cream puffs early and to get the cream puff giveaways and there's the first time, I'll never forget the first time I walked into the Cream Puff Pavilion, how overwhelming it was to just go, oh my God. And they've got it down to a science.
Oh, it's a science. Yeah, you walk in, you've got gates, it's like a cattle corral, you do your thing, and you end with the cream puff. How beautiful is that?
We have to end with the cream puff conversation because it's time for us to go. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Daybreak. She's Jamie Martinson. I'm Brian Noonan. This is the Civic Media Network. Bye. Thank you.
All right, we are clear.
Yes, Alicia, in case you're wondering, my ex's name was also Eric. We were in South Dakota, though, so.
Oh, God.
Have a good day, live stream. Please go vote.
Please go vote.